Neutral Games. I'm Simon, your DM for tonight, as we join Kate, Felicia, Nick, and Corinne with their adventures in Alaria. Don't forget that you can help or indeed hinder by using your channel points in the game. Check out the options in the chat bar below. You can also join the chaos by clicking the Discord link below and join the rest of our community, or vote towards the session twist by being a subscriber. So let's join the players as they play episode 74 of the Benefactor.
Didn't write that one down, did you?
And hello, everybody, and hello to the players. How are you all?
Hello, good.
Hello. Oh wow, we have 14 people unviewing us. This is amazing.
That's mostly down to Kate. Kate has kind of pre-raided us.
I brought my fam over. Thank you for being here, everyone.
I brought them.
Well, they are all very, very welcome, and welcome to you all in chat.
So am I authorized to talk now?
Yes.
You're now authorized to talk as opposed to the unauthorized chatting that you're doing.
Warms up bit wand.
Oh, brother.
Why do I feel a bit intimidated by the concept of a bit wand? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I know. I had to reread it a couple of times to check what I was actually reading. Right, cool. So that's what we're happening today.
So how is everybody in your isolation, in your captivity, in your solitude?
I made chocolate mousse yesterday. It went really well, despite my roommate getting me the wrong type of cream.
That's it.
Did he get you cooking cream instead of whipping cream?
No, he gave me lactose-free cream.
Well, you could still use lactose-free
Did it not work very well?
I could, but I'll tell you that I tasted the difference.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we were on Kate's channel today. Kate was talking about the last time that, well, everybody apart from Felicia came to us for board games night, and that was Corinne's birthday.
Madness.
And after
you were so drunk.
We were talking about the honey rum, dude.
Yeah, the honey rum came up.
And funnily enough, Felicia saying about the lactose-free stuff is that I've actually started working on my own recipe for a gluten-free banana bread with chocolate chips, so that next time Nick comes over, I can do like kind of gluten-free chocolate chip banana bread.
Just remember not to put flour in it.
Yeah.
There's flour. It's gram flour. So you can nom away all you like.
I made a wonderful cheesecake, and I chose it because I didn't think it had any flour in it. Little did I read or realize when I put in the 1 tablespoon of flour.
Yes.
Yeah, so Nick couldn't eat any, and it was
there
like
just
this
eating
freaking big.
This beautiful, it was this beautiful New York cheesecake. We're all there eating it, and then Nick's just there like the dog pining by the side of the table.
It was both dessert and breakfast that day. It was good.
Yeah,
we had it for breakfast.
Well, I mean,
There
cake
was
for
a lot of
breakfast is the only proper breakfast.
I mean, you know, it's
so it's like
cheese. So
I had went and gotten like gluten-free digestive biscuits, so it would.
Oh yeah, everything else she got sorted out, and then she just bunged the flour in. Well, we have gluten-free flour on tap. So
Yeah.
that's mostly
Next
because
time.
they didn't have real flour in the shops for a long time. So
also we needed it for a recipe.
Yes.
So talking of real flour, you know what I was saying? How it's been hard to get flour. I may have ordered some flour on Amazon, and I now have 16-kilogram bag of flour, bread flour.
Good God, was this to feed Sarah?
No, I mean, Sarah is sitting in a cupboard being ignored slightly, but we're not talking about her.
1.6 kilos.
I know you're not going to make sourdough, but you can't neglect Sarah. Come on.
I know,
Sarah
but no.
is,
Well, I've got
big
myself a
sourdough
new Sarah. I've got this, which I think is I can take care of a little bit
so
more.
That's how we do this, Kate. Is it? You know, we just ignore the other one and put it in a cupboard. And
We're
get
like
a
la
new
la
best
la.
friend.
Well, you know,
Okay.
there was Derek was poured unceremoniously down the drain, whereas Sarah is still alive, just not being fed very regularly. But
neglected. So neglected.
don't tell
Well,
everybody.
To be fair, sourdough starter can last quite some time before it actually dies.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't even look like it's still alive, but it is alive. So I'm sure you can revive
One
her
day
now that you
she
have
will
a
return.
proper
One day.
amount of flour on hand.
So now I have flour and I have dried yeast. So I think I'll still be making bread, but like the sourdough,
God,
I don't think I've got the
understand
patience
dried
for it,
yeast.
to be honest. It's just too much.
Like I can use dry yeast because it's pretty simple to use.
That's the only
I
stuff you can
don't
get around here.
understand why you would use dry yeast when there's like the yeast cubes you use for
The
bread.
thing is, Felicia,
don't have-
they
We can't
don't
find them very
exist.
easily.
I've looked everywhere. There is no
So,
proper
anyway,
fresh yeast.
we're supposed to be playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, so welcome to the food channel, everybody.
Welcome to tonight's episode of the Benefactor.
Change the category to just chatting.
101.
Just chatting
Sorry.
on food. There we go. Yep,
Sorry,
okay, good.
sorry.
I mean,
I've done my stream. We
actually-
should stop that.
So let's get to it,
Dragons.
shall we?
Yes, we were gonna barter with pirates, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
Well, we
got,
just found some.
We got booty called by the silverfins.
Oh yes, we did.
I wouldn't quite put it that way. I thought
Well,
threatened.
booty call means something different for a pirate, so you know.
Yeah.
Threatened seemed more realistic, but yes.
Anyway,
Okay,
to the
come
south
with me.
of the Bardencourt Empire, where your characters all come from, there is the sprawling, verdant country of Sylvania. It tails off kind of in the same shape as, I guess, South America, but quite a bit smaller. And it's almost entirely covered in forest. And this is for a good reason. And one of the main reasons why it's so lush and verdant is that nowhere else in Illyria do you have such a thin veil between the prime material plane and the Feywild. creatures of the Fae are more powerful here, and they have access to be able to get to the Feywild if they so wish. Unfortunately, fringe areas like this tend to get populated by the exiles of both worlds. In this case, mostly the exiles of the Feywild, and as such, high elves and wood elves that didn't make it in the Feywild ended up coming here to the Prime Material Plane, quite a punishment for Fae. And they set up shop in Sylvania, keeping control over the gateways to one day allow them to get home. For many, this didn't pay off, and generations later, they find themselves still in Sylvania, still trying to live out the glory of their old Fae ways. So, you are in a beautiful city. This city is one of the few breaks in the near constant woodland occupied by hidden villages, towns, even cities of wood elves. You can see because there's a beautiful golden tower that comes straight up through the middle of the city, a coastal city, with a smaller one around 2/3 of the height of it right next to it. At the base of that, there is a circular courtyard. And then after that, terraces go down in concentric circles right down to the sea. You've only been able to get into the most bottom tier of this city. This is more high elf than high elf. They have relegated you down to the lowest section of the city, not able to look at any of the potential delights within. You find yourself stood on a promenade, a long street that goes along the coastal break of this city. And your new captain and bosun, a pair of half-orc sisters, are now looking for their your next crew. As they head off to the taverns to start to muster the various crew that they're going to need for your folding ship that you currently have in your bag of holding, you are approached by a Triton. 2?
We have a fleet, sir.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you do have 2. Yeah, you've got a 2 ships. Although you're only using the 1 at the moment, aren't you?
Yes,
But
our
we
plan
still
was
have-
to use 1 ship, but we have 2.
We have
Yes.
2. We have the makings of our own fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Also,
but you're currently only getting the crew for the 1 ship at present.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. Also, while Simon was doing that wonderful intro, we did get a follow. Couldn't see exactly who it was, but thank you. And also
Unknown
thank
Tragedy.
you. Yes, and
Yes.
Mr. E-Hole, thank you so much.
And thank
for
you,
the bits.
Mr. Holt. You have relegated a bonus dice for the Star Wars game. Let's see, what's the equivalent of that? The equivalent of that would be
A D4 because it's a guidance check, I would say.
Yeah. So okay, we will wait for an appropriate point to apply the D4 on behalf of Mr. E-Hole. So, although it does sound like Mystery Hole, Mr. E-Hole. Mystery.
It might be Mystery Hole.
It might be Mystery Hole. That's true.
Yeah.
So, you are at the docks, literally on one of the piers. You've recently spoken about berthing the ship, and you've been approached by a Triton, very much a merfolk woman. She currently has legs, and you haven't really met many Tritons. Glory has slept with one, but she hasn't really spent much time. I was about to say
Nothing much
studying the
unusual
anatomy,
there.
but then I realised how bad that was because she clearly has. But, let's just say there's more to learn about the Tritons of Illyria than you'll get in the regular D&D. As per usual, I have my own twists on the various races and cultures. And she identifies herself as a member of the Silverfins, effectively sea Amazons. and
Which is
she
hot.
asks to speak to you. She's also
Laura's
the
kind of-
Silverfins are also part of the nation of the Seven Sails, a nation that is completely on the water and in ships. Well, for the most part, in ships. You know that a lot of the Silverfins are actually sirens, merrow, and they ride around on seamounts. And you saw this because the
Triton.
Triton, thank you, ushered away a tiger shark before saying, "Come with me." So, do you agree to go with her?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, she's identified herself and says that she's guarding one of the places we're probably going to, so... probably a good idea.
More about that through a conversation. She takes you to the edge of the water and hands each of you a small vial and says, "It'll allow you to breathe in water for the next 24 hours."
All right.
I look at her quizzically, like, why would I need such a
She
thing?
gives you a knowing nod and passes you over for that. And without a second word, she steps off the pier into the water below.
Water is not great. Okay, here we go.
Yes. Those who don't know, Corinne plays a tabaxi.
Yes.
Very much a cat. So, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Cold salt water.
Yep.
Oh, it's gonna get mad in the first.
Yep.
Again, I don't know what your problem is.
So I assume that Farewell quite happily steps.
Oh
off
no,
the pier.
he's waiting for the moment because they've not all gone in yet. It's pretty good that he doesn't go first, considering out of all of you, I'm the only one with a swim speed.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
The rest-
well. Bottoms up, girls.
I'm already in.
And so Glory and Eclipse jump in.
I'm watching for bubbles and drowning.
No, there's no bubbles at all. Once they jump in and it settles, that's it. So Glory and Eclipse, you dive into the water. You let your eyes kind of adjust. Apparently the vial that she gave you confers a little bit extra as well. You can actually see further in water than you would have been able to. So you can see damn near normally underwater. There's still a bit silty, but you can kind of cut through it just that little bit more. And you can see in front of you now, the Triton in front of you now has a 6-foot tail coming out where she had legs, and a dorsal fin that has sprouted from her back.
Cool.
Her hands that weren't webbed before are webbed now.
That's kind of
I look at Cora and I say to her, "Look, worst case is we fight our way out and we carry on doing what we're doing before."
Yeah, it's true. And maybe we'll gain an ally? Oh boy.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold that much breath, but that's not really a problem for me down there. Anyway, after you.
Jump.
I just sort of stand at the edge and just
horrible
fall
to
backwards.
wash
Yep.
out of my hair.
Just don't
later.
jump. Just sort of stand on the edge and just go wee, bloop, and like just float down backwards. And I'm do that really annoying thing, you know, that when someone's actually really good at something more than anybody else, where he just kind of darts towards them and then turns away and keeps darting towards them. And like because I can like swim faster than anybody
Like
else.
being
it's
on a
like I'm
bike
sort
with
of
someone
just-
walking.
Yeah,
Just like
I'm,
doing
like,
circles.
moving ahead and turning around and circling around. But yeah.
Swimming really slowly and
Yeah, which is doubly cruel because with her tiny little arms and legs, the halfling Cora is kind of.
I
trying to
haven't
get
probably
her way
swum
through.
that much too. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
much of a swimmer. Like there hasn't been much cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Glory
you do know
lives
how to
in a
swim because you
tropical
live in a coastal
jungle.
city, but you just haven't done it that much.
Yeah. I
Mostly,
did live by the sea, so I probably, even though I'm like the. Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, really appreciate.
You probably know how to swim decently. We all do.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, even though I'm like cat, tabaxi are not proper cats, so they
Pretty
do
adventurous,
They
right?
don't have a problem with
stuff.
water. If you remember the beach episode, they don't have a problem with water.
We did have a beach episode. It was episode 72.
That does officially make us an anime. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes, and so is Avatar: The Last Airbender. They had a beach episode too.
As I know the shape water cantrip, I'm going to be using it to sort of in like a spade, just every now and again when she like falls behind to just push her along.
Yeah.
There's a little jet behind me.
There's a little corkscrew jet.
Yeah.
And you see the same transformation as the Silverfin, who hasn't revealed her name yet, has she?
No, because she's been very rude and not introduced.
I don't know. I wrote down Indira, but I don't know why I wrote that. That's the only note I think I wrote last week.
I think Indira's the captain, isn't she?
Yeah, that's the captain.
Let me call up my notes.
Yeah, probably.
I've got down. That's what I've got down for the captain.
Okay,
Indira.
that's why. So I wrote that. That's
Indira and Katia are the two half-orcs that you've now left in the dock.
Yeah, they're looking for crew though, so it's fine.
Yes.
Yes, we should have some time.
Yeah. Indira, Sorika. Oh no, Sandira, not Indira. Sandira. Sandira, Sorika, and Katia Sorika. Are the two that you've got there.
Yes, Sandira and Katia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Either way, I will look around and ask her, well, where
This
are we
way,
going?
we have a facility. And she swims ahead and swimming as fast as a Triton for the rest of you is exhausting. I would like everybody apart from Farewell to do me an athletics check.
Oh dear!
Oh, no!
Dear. Oh dear!
Finally, my absolutely choice in racial combination has been fucking useless. And now I get to shine.
You're in the nautical section of the adventure, my friend. So
I was gonna say Simon's been playing too much Subnautica, so now he's transferred that into the game.
Hey, if
Everything's now gonna be
if
underwater.
watching Critical Role do
Was
their
it athletics or
nautical thing
acrobatics?
and being a fan of
Athletics.
flintlocks and fireballs
Sadness.
didn't do it, then I'm pretty sure Subnautica wasn't the thing that did it.
5.
5.
Yeah.
What was it? An athletics check?
Yeah,
Yes,
athletics.
it's
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
Which is probably -1.
No, well, no. My strength is 0, but I rolled a 2, and my athletics is 0. So.
Oh,
I'm
the
not using luck
halfling's
points
failure.
I'm not using luck points to reroll this. This is just.
Yeah, we're terrible. This is
So,
not Glory's thing. She can take a
Fine.
nice hot bath in a pool.
This is
But
only
don't
around
make
about
her
a
swim.
300-meter swim.
Uh-uh.
I'd say actually it's probably a bit more. It's probably about a 400 or 500-meter swim. But by the end of it,
Fully
your
clothed
muscles
in
are
like
burning.
armor
They
and
are
very
burning.
Simon,
But-
may I roll that after like the first 100, Glory will just grab onto Farewell and have him drag her the rest of the way?
I like to point out, Farewell is wearing his full half plate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which means I have places to
throwing
grab
that out
onto.
Just there, like this
What can I roll to dodge?
acrobatics.
Yeah, it's acrobatics or athletics, and Felicia needs to make an athletics check to grapple you.
Yeah, with disadvantage because she's in the water.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I didn't roll particularly well because that's an 11. So you've got an 11 beat. Come on, those minus.
Well, let's
That's
see
what you
here.
get
A
for dumping
16
strength.
and a 14. So the 14 and my athletics is -1.
So 13.
It's 13. I grab onto Farewell.
So you're grabbing onto Farewell for dear life, and you notice that Farewell he can swim. He really can swim. He's keeping up.
Zoom.
I mean, Farewell knows that this Triton is going at a very slow pace, but is getting a little irritated about how long this is taking.
Yeah.
And you
hurry
swim
up.
off a ledge and down into the depths. You can feel this pressure building on your skin. Farewell, you're capable of going quite low with your abilities because you are water. You are literally 100% water. And so you just keep going down and down and down, no problem.
Just to help out, Simon, can I spend a little time zooming up, grabbing the one at the back and bringing them to the front, zooming back, bringing the one at the back and bringing them to the zooming back, bringing the one at the back, and literally just basically ferrying all three of the slackers
between
further and further down.
Yeah,
between
Eclipse,
your
like, cantrip
equalizes the
and
pressure in her
you
ears
physically
and all
doing it.
that.
So yeah, but what I was saying about the pressure girls is that the vials that you drank also seem to be dealing with the pressure. You can feel it, but it's not painful or anything like that. You're kind of like, yeah, if I didn't have this magic on me, I would be in trouble right now.
Yeah. I think the ears still go over, so you have to equalize, but
yeah, because that's a trope. You have to do that. Yeah, just every now and again, yeah. And as you go further down, suddenly there's this little source of light, this thin, reedy green light, and you realize that out of the ledge, around about 200 foot down, is just a balcony. It's this balcony, and light is spilling out, and you get to the balcony. And you watch as this miasma surrounds the Triton, and she goes back to having legs again. And she gestures inside, and sure enough, you step in. And as you step in, there's this wall of force. You've seen mages do this type of thing before, and as you step in, it's regular air. You can speak, you can...
Tossed about through the airlock.
Welcome to one of our safe houses. You are all bound to not reveal this place. But,
of course,
as far as I'm aware, you are already under such a promise. She turns to an elf. The elf, Nick, you recognize a sea elf. In fact,
yeah,
Corinne
then I am.
and Kate would probably have met one as well. Felicia, not many sea elves where you are.
no.
But yeah, Eclipse would probably see one on the docks and stuff.
Mostly, because Kate and Corinne come from nautical cities, and Nick, your whole back.
It's nautical. It just is nautical.
But yes, Felicia, thanks to Saradon the Blue, there aren't many sea elves that come anywhere near Scarborough.
No!
So you've never met one before.
Glory, can you dry me, please?
I know.
Good question.
Magic hairdryer.
I'm pretty sure you can dry people with prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation will do.
Yeah.
If prestidigitation works, then yes, I will dry Eclipse.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
There's this sudden blurry, and the cat just goes.
Yeah.
I wait until she's nice and dry, then I walk up right behind her and just give her this huge wet where I'm like, and it's like a proper bear hug, you know, when you like lift somebody off the floor and you're just like, yeah.
Eclipse is just hissing at you.
Sea elf is older. You think she's probably just past middle age, so she's around about 2,000 years old. Yeah, and
I was gonna say when you mentioned, there's been generations since like these elves were here. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like several millennia.
Yep. And so she's old, but still looks beautiful. She's live, and the only thing that you can tell that she's a sea elf, for those who recognize, is she's got the strange skin tone. So she's got a kind of like almost a dolphin-like skin, and she has got gills as well. And you can see that she's currently got 1,000-yard stare and her eyes are glazed over with a magical sheen. And she says, "Yes, thank you." And suddenly she's back in the room and her eyes come back to normal. And her eyes even a kind of strange, kind of split pupilled eyes. Not like a cat, but kind of rounded and noduled like a fish. Ah, you're here. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Takash. And the Triton nods at you and walks over to the sea elf side, and she says, "Mistress, is it true? Have you managed to corroborate the story?" Yes, I've spoken to someone who I believe they refer to as Carlas. They are recent allies, but allies nonetheless. They are within the Seven Sails.
Yes. Yes.
But only very recently, and we do realize that you all have other agendas from what we've gleaned already. A servant of a dragon.
I'm not a servant.
A tabaxi who has her own particular cultural leanings. Well, I don't know what to make of you, sir.
That's disarmingly racist.
I was more referring to the fact that
Such generalizations usually are not a good way to start a conversation, even I know that. I think what would really be the better place to start is introductions. I'm Farewell. This is Cora, Eclipse, and Glory. And you are?
she looks at you with a kind of what starts to be a withering look, and then a smile creeps over her mouth and says, "My apologies. I've been a spy master for too long.
Billy.
My name's Thera. That's Thera.
H-E-R-A.
Sorry.
That's a terrible time for my pen to stop working.
Where did my pen go? There.
I know.
By the way, I
I'm gonna
found
have to
Captain
find it.
Indira. Captain Indira was the other one. She was the
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, she was the first one. Yeah,
there
you
we
went-
go.
So we have a
You went-
Captain Indira and a Captain Sandira.
No, you rejected Captain Indira because you went for Sandan.
Yeah. So do you say Therin or
Thera. Thera.
A? Oh, not in. There.
Just Thera.
Seal.
Pretty much my entire job is assessing the threat. But yes, I was pointing out that you will have your other agendas, of course you will. But as far as we are capable, you are trusted here today.
Yes. Yes, we're so you got us here to talk about us. You've seen us been at a place of great danger.
Anything beneath those waves is of great danger. You live a very peaceful life up above, only made dangerous by your own machinations. Here, it is in the nature of kill to survive, eat to survive.
Yes.
However, we're talking of a much deeper danger, aren't we?
Yes, and if I'm completely honest with you, what interests me more is if you've already seen us there, then you know that some of these things are meant to happen. We're meant to be in certain places. We have to be in certain places. So,
Maybe.
the question I've got is this a possibility you saw, or a definitive?
Well, any view into the future is only a possibility. We only knew that, as far as anyone is able to see the future, that there was a high probability that you would be coming through this way and coming through our doors. And, yes, we're a little concerned because, well, most of the temples are protected by us. There are only a few that aren't, and that's largely because they're in such a lethal place that the local fauna are more than enough protection. I want to know more about why you're seeking this path. Again, Augurs only give a rough direction. They don't give fine detail. They don't give explanations for what they see. They just see a number of things that could be and report it to us, and then we investigate it. So I'm, as far as bringing you here, now I'm effectively blind. What is your mission?
Well, I think before we discuss any of that, we should show a level of trust to one another and avoid any lies, shall we?
Of course.
I cast Zone of Truth.
She feels the ripple. You can see that the Triton still hasn't given you her name. The Triton grits her teeth and glares at you, but then the Sea Elf puts her hand on the Triton's shoulder and says, "It's fine. He wants trust. Isn't that what we want?" And the Triton goes and sits down very moodily. Then sits down.
It's
And she relents.
Yes. Eclipse also relents.
They both relent? Yeah, Farewell will relent as well.
Yeah. You feel no resistance to your zone of truth. As
Fantastic.
far as you're concerned, Farah will answer every question. Great.
For those that do want to resist, it's a charisma saving throw DC 18. So feel free.
Yep.
Nice
Good
to
luck
know.
going toe to toe with my god.
Hey, look, I've got a DC of 18 now. I'm well pleased. I'm going to start, I need to start using that more. Very well.
No worries,
It's nice
Minion.
to know that. It's nice to know that we've got some beginnings here.
Yes. So, ask your questions. I'll be happy to answer mine.
Yes, we're very happy to answer.
What do you know of the long night?
The long night.
You
Well-
mean Night of the Dark Star?
No, yeah, sorry, thank you. The Night of the Dark Star, the long night is something completely different.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a Game of Thrones
That's
thing.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah. Thank
so,
you.
yeah, the Night of the Dark Star, she says, well, it's one of the many things that we defend against, obviously. Should the Kraken ever come back, there's currently no force on Alera that will be able to place it back within its presence. So we would just have to accept that wherever it goes, destruction will reign. And those who released it will, well, assuming they didn't die in the effort, will either be incredibly powerful or completely enslaved to its will and just follow around sycophantically. But most likely, most of the people who worship the Kraken, or at least entreat with the Kraken, as you'll find most people who deal with it do, they're not about trying to release it. That's the act of a madman. Or somebody that the Kraken has managed to deceive, but it's a creature of raw force. It doesn't go for machination. It's one of the few saving graces about the thing.
How about...
I'll speak to you this
The
later,
challenge.
but I have a theory.
Good. The Chalice of the Damned, I assume you've heard of this as well?
The Chalice of the Drowned, yes. Very famous. Those who have lost their lives upon the sea where they tried to find redemption pledged themselves to the Chalice. It's one of the few artifacts that I'm aware of that a commoner or someone mundane, you understand, would be able to devote themselves to. Many sailors, as they find themselves about to drown, will give themselves over to the Chalice in the hope that they may one day return and perform some act that allows them to square things up with their god. Although it's somewhat of a passé term. I mean, I have been alive longer than most, yes, I find that the gods are somewhat forgiving to a certain extent. They understand there's going to be a certain number of lapses of judgment. It's more who you are in total, rather than any one particular discretion.
Oh, thank you.
I would, and I guess that obviously brings us nicely as to why we're here. A friend of ours has found himself in possession of such an item. We believe he may...
has the chalice.
We believe so.
Beryl just nods, and after Glory says that. We fear that he may be out of a sense of duty to protect his family and those that mean the most to him, has somehow put himself on a path that may cause him harm by accident, and thus those around him even more harm. And we seek to stop him, and that may involve us going into one of your temples or protected areas. Now, you and I know that it would be easier if we could all work together to stop this, but if I'm honest with you, and I kind of have to be, I believe that your immediate resolution to this would be one of violence, whereas ours would be one where we could talk to him. So I think, and I look at all the people around me just to make sure that they're in agreement, that we will work with you on the provision that you let us handle this our way. And we will not take anything, defile anything, or do anything other than just do the job and leave.
You malign us when you say that we would lean more towards violence. We do have our enforcers, and she looks over at the Triton with this cruel-looking coral blade at her hip. And
reputation precedes us all.
Yes,
I would like a bloodless solution of this. First of all, I wonder why this person is going through such lengths to do this with the chalice. The chalice will work for anybody, as long as they have cause and can convince the souls within to marshal. I think there are stories abound of when the chalice has found itself in the hands of somebody. If you know the tale of the fisherman's wife, it's that. In order to defend her home from bandits who were going to come and kill her and her children whilst her husband was off at sea, she found herself in possession of the chalice. She realized what it was, and through a simple cut on her finger, touched blood to the inside of the chalice and toasted Melora. And when she did that, a band of, apparently the tale differs, but it doesn't really matter, 6 to 10 spirits came striding out of the water and defeated the bandits. Not only that, but another few spirits went off to the fisherman's stricken vessel and helped bring it home.
The chalice is a means to an end, not the ends itself.
But what do you think he's expecting to do with it? And why does he need to go to... Well, these temples are areas of great power. Do you know that?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a theory that the chalice and the Knight of the Dark Star and this person is somehow connected.
I think you are more than correct, and to be honest, we have many different reasons, many different theories, and unfortunately very little answers. All we know is what he has, the direction he's going, the movement that he is going in, and unless we do something now rather than hanging around, then we are going to, well, I'm sure
Find
you've
out.
heard what happened to After Gold.
Well, I guess we need to be quick then. So, for our part, the Silverfins will not block your entry to these areas. Not only that, but when you have some idea of where you're going, we will accompany you.
Oh, we do know where we're going, or at
Excellent.
least we have the route planned.
I've been very forthcoming with my information. I would expect your route, please. I'm not going to forbid you to take it. It just means that I can marshal my forces should the worst come to happen.
Glory, look at Farewell.
Yeah. Very slowly and begrudgingly, Farewell pops the map case open, draws out the sea map. I assume there's a table in this room.
Yes, yeah. Everything is carved out of stone. There's kind of bioluminescent lights everywhere, and
pretty.
Oh yeah, it's lovely. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a CGI budget. I can use it. Yeah.
I roll it. I roll it out on the table, and I sort of, with my sort of fingers and a combination of the pencil, sort of just walk them very, very slowly and in excruciatingly long and boring detail, which I won't go into now, the exact routes as to everything. As she asked for information, and as such now she's getting it verbatim.
You do notice that she kind of glazes over within a minute, because when you open up the map, she walks straight up, looks at your route and goes, "Oh, there." But then she does listen to the rest of it.
Eclipse is, I don't know, I have an image of Eclipse and Glory like sitting in a corner doing like clap.
No.
Yeah. Is there anything that we should
Glory
know?
will poke Eclipse every once in a while with her tail if she thinks Eclipse is gonna say something stupid, but that's about it.
Or fall asleep because she's there going.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Eclipse is
sorry to
definitely
say-
wanting to be like, shall we? And it's like, nah, stop it.
Is there anything that we should know along the plotted route that we should watch out for?
As long as you stay on the surface for the route that you have here, you should be fine. There's a couple of coves and things like that. She points them out. They're already on the map, and she goes, "Yeah, be careful of these. You should have a number of people manning the lookout just in case you find yourself off course and not knowing it. This will scupper most ships. And the area here that you're suspecting that he's going to, I fear that he may die just from being there. We're talking about entire cities of Sahuagin nearby. We're talking about spur sharks. We're talking about sea wyverns. This is a very dangerous spot, even for us.
He has friends among the and I can't pronounce that. Zergern?
No, he has
Toa.
friends amongst the Katoa.
Katoa. Thank you. It's all right. Probably. And that's why we need to get to him rather quickish, which is the reason why we rushed here to get a crew, why we rushed here to set sail, and, you know,
And we shouldn't waste any more time, should we?
No.
Very well. We
should
keep the sacred
wait
places beneath the
contact.
waves.
Should there be some way that we can signal one another to make sure that we know it's you and us, and, you know, we could do without you trashing our
Stabbing
shit
us.
from below.
There's suddenly a voice in your head, and she says, "You'll find that underwater we have our own ways of communicating to each other." As she talks
I
to you
don't think she-
telepathically.
So if we stick our head in the water, we can contact you.
Once again, without moving her lips, no, I can speak to you within a certain range. We won't be leaving very far from the ship, and in fact, I might spend some time on top of the ship. Who knows? I haven't been on a deck in a very long time.
Oh, you're joining us.
That's what I say.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Myself and my guard will be joining you.
Right.
Glory
good
will
thing-
poke Eclipse again, like, listen and pay attention or shut up.
A good thing we brought that extra provision then, Evan.
We
Doesn't
sort
mean that
ourselves out.
technically we could use the second boat. I mean, we
Yeah.
can literally have our fleet out.
No, we don't have the crew for that.
I mean, with these guys, maybe.
Yeah,
You
no,
currently
literally, there's
don't
two
have
of
a
them.
crew at all.
And yeah, Farah turns around and says, "We know nothing about ships.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
We do have a faction within the Silverfins who use ships, but most of us have our own maps." And she points at the force field, and you can see that there's a tiger shark and a narwhal just waiting there. Both of them with saddles on as well.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
And we can feed as we go.
Okay. Well,
we are born to the world.
have you got any ways to help them get back quick? Because it was a bit of an ordeal for them to get down here. And it'd probably be good if they weren't completely exhausted for most of what we're doing.
Of course. I guess we could take some passengers back up. And she strides towards the narwhal, and the Triton strides towards the tiger shark. Yeah.
Yes.
I like narwhals. What can I say? I wanted a narwhal.
No, me and Nick all have the song in our head.
Narwhal.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, you just as if we're done, you need to find a crew.
Yes.
Well,
Very well.
we have a captain finding a crew right now.
Yes. The eye blind.
The eye blind.
And she walks towards the narwhal and says, "Shall we?"
Yes, if you don't use racial slurs, then we shall.
She looks back and goes, "Is that a slur in your?"
Yes, it's very insensitive.
And which of you speaks Elven? Nick. Okay. Nick, do me an intelligence check. Just straight.
I speak intercom.
I don't know why you
Really helps if I
Eclipse
stop
with no draconic.
thinking.
It's so weird.
I don't.
19.
No.
19. You know that the old word for orcs, in their language, directly translated, was kind of a variation on the term eye blight, the ugly one, and or abomination because they were made by Grumsh. And so you have a feeling that this quite old sea elf is just directly translating from her own language, and she does look incredibly embarrassed at this.
I know Elven and Sylvan as well at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Just slow there.
she does look embarrassed, and she says, "Is that true? In common, it's an insult."
Yes.
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 Yeah, like it's very insensitive and
It's
What's
an old
what's the term
term.
for them?
Half orc or orc.
yes.
Orc.
Orc.
Yes.
Sounds like a bodily function.
Which is also equally insensitive and rather not well done. And at this moment, we should probably stop with this line of conversation and get back up to the surface so we can carry on. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day.
Yeah, this is when
Yes,
names are
this
good.
is
We
an
can just
issue.
use
We
names,
can
and then you
talk
don't
for
have to worry what
hours.
race they are and
You
stuff.
can see
And
that
I leap onto the
she's
narwhal.
kind of really embarrassed at this point. You're getting I can't remember what's it called. It's not part of it is anachronism. So she's suffering a bit from anachronism, but also being out of touch with society. I can't remember. It's like anachronism. Can't remember the word for it.
Either way.
She's hermited, basically.
Yes.
She's been so far removed from society that she can't quite cope. And doesn't know what the new terms are And so you notice she's speaking very carefully with it all, which is why she was very abrupt with you at the beginning. And this, I rolled up. She basically gets a lot of stuff wrong and offends people without knowing.
Mental note: fish elves are racists.
This particular one, Thera herself is.
You know what it's like? Old people.
They say words they cannot say anymore.
Oh yeah, and I'm not forgiving it. She's.
God, Grandma, no, Grandma, no.
We don't use that term anymore. No.
You do not use the old word for chocolate balls. It's really, really bad.
It's really, really
I heard about
bad.
that in Swedish. Yeah, there's terms like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't like all my elves being this kind of graceful and kind of, oh, hello. I've played so many of these elves before. I wanted some elves with some flaws.
There's absolutely 2 elves that have cast invisibility on themselves in the room because they're just so embarrassed about not being in there anymore.
Yeah,
they're
the
just
niece and nephew are actually in the room as well. They're just invisible.
Yeah, she's just like, oh my God, Grandma, could you not?
Yeah, been there, had that discussion.
So yeah, and yeah, you can see that she's. Whereas a lot of the elves that you've made have played up with the racial stereotype of being these graceful, what do your elf eyes see, Legolas? Hey, look, I don't make footprints on the snow bullshit. And she is just out of it. She's 2,000 years old and completely lost track of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, that's kind of fair.
Yeah.
Is there an easy way to ride one of these? And I'm just like flopped over a narwhal, just trying to hug it.
It's so big as well.
Cora, like put her upright so she has she's sitting on it rather than
just there like a mascot on the top of this narwhal.
You're embarrassing me in front of the sea people.
Do I grab the horn? What do I do? I can't stay on.
Embarrassing me in front of the sea people.
Okay, so who's going on the tiger shark and who's going on the narwhal?
I'm swimming. I don't get to
Felicia's
swim
on the
enough.
tiger shark because Glory wouldn't go on anything less.
No.
Yeah. I rather than trying to cry myself with Glory, I will choose the small one and go with Cora.
Okay.
Narwhals don't really have much of a fluke, so you can't even grab one, right?
No.
She has a saddle, so you can
It
probably
has no
hold
saddle,
on
so
the
you can
back
hold
of
on
the
to that.
saddle.
Okay, I'll get.
So,
I'll grab the saddle.
And so Thera comes out and says, "We'll go slow. That's an enchanted saddle. You don't want to go at full speed." And he utters a word which comes out as kind of whale song. And you do notice while she's in the water,
A whale from a distance goes, "That's also racist."
So yeah, you notice that she spoke to you telepathically when she was in the water. Then she just she does this kind of squeaking fish language, and both the narwhal and the tiger shark start to swim at quite a speed straight up. Don't worry, your vials have also stopped you getting the bends, and Nick, you're made of water. So yep.
I'm doing loops. I'm doing like full corkscrews around them. I'm just going.
It's like
Maybe
being
we
in
should take him
SeaWorld.
swimming more often.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take him swimming more often.
Clearly.
I'm
You do
sure
notice
we
that the
can
tiger
convince
shark
Loki
does
to
want to
turn the
follow
entire
Farewell.
cellar into a pool.
Yes. Because Farewell is, kind of doing this spiral. You can see the tiger shark wants to follow Farewell and starts breaking ranks with the narwhal. At which point there's this underwater from
The tiger shark is like a dog.
From
it's
the
a dog who wants to play.
Narwhal?
No, from
Triton?
the Triton. Thank you. There's this annoyed sound from the Triton, and like a scolded puppy, the tiger shark just goes back into formation, and there's this kind of gruff nod from the Triton as if to say, "I should think so," and she carries on swimming right next to you, again with this beautiful, elegant 6 foot long tail. So you kind of notice that she's around about 10 foot long when she's in the water and fully transformed. whereas she probably just about cuts 6.5 foot on land.
Which is still very tall, 6.5 foot. Is
Oh yeah,
very
she's a
tall.
big girl.
That makes her taller than Farewell, and he's 6'3".
Sea Amazon, she's ripped as well. Ripped. She's got scars on her arms, and the
Scrub Lord.
Rory's just like,
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I said last week she's fucking ripped. She's got scars on her arms, pair of coral blades. She's an underwater commando basically. She's she's fucking protector of the Silverfins. And so you get to the surface, and as you break, you do notice a couple of people on the dock, very prim and proper high elf people in beautiful clothes and all the finery. Suddenly go,
oh, can I splash?
There's
and I'm going to use control water, and I'm coming up with a huge fucking tidal wave. If I see them, and I shit you not, if I can see them, I am coming up with a huge wave to propel me off the edge and just.
Sure. You come out with this column of water, and the water just slaps down on the promenade, and you just land gracefully. Farewell, as if this is how you travel all the time.
Farewell wishes he traveled like this all the time.
Did you? Well, are you intending to get them wet?
Yeah, of course I am. That's the whole point of doing that.
Sure.
If they were
Okay.
And this is how Farewell got in prison.
Yes, it's Farewell's time to end up in an oubliette.
This is what happens. The narwhal with its giant horn breaks the water first because narwhal, and then followed by the most violent Chuck Norris shark of them all, which is tiger shark. They are the honey badgers of the sea, I swear to God. So they break the water with people on the back of them, and you can see these kind of high elf lords and ladies, lowercase lords and ladies go, and then suddenly the dock explodes. They get showered in water, and landing, hero 3-point landing, is Farewell. And
he broke his legs because landing 3-point is really bad.
Yeah, but he was on water, so it's fine. So
Dungeons and Dragons, physics means nothing.
It means absolutely nothing.
True.
Physics,
Very
trigonometry, it's all out the window.
Yeah.
A wizard did it.
Yeah.
If you've got 60 foot of movement, you can go 60 foot forward and 60 foot up. If that movement is allowed, and fuck the hypotenuse.
In 6 seconds as well.
In 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's so as you land on there, completely oblivious to what's about to kick off on the dock, you see the Triton and the Sea Elf break the water as well, and Farah turns around to the Triton and says, "Be their contact for now. I need to go and speak to Captain Scarlett." And there's a nod, and the Sea Elf submerges again. And once you separate from the narwhal goes down and follows her. However, on the dock, you hear, "I am offended, sir!" And this high elf is glaring daggers at Farewell, and he's coming up to you and pulling off his right
While
hand.
that is happening, Glory is busy drying herself and Eclipse.
Yes,
Sure.
Eclipse.
So as you girls are stepping out of the water and you're doing the magical hairdryer, this high elf is walking up to Farewell and pulling off the glove on his right hand, and he's bunching it like a weapon, and he comes up to slap you in the face with it. And
You should throw it on the floor, and then I should slap him on the face if I accept his duel. Those are the rules, sir.
Apparently he didn't know that, and he says, "You, sir, I shall have satisfaction," and slaps you in the face with a glove.
Oh, I'm not that kind of person. You're in the wrong part of the docks. They're usually found over by the pubs.
I see. Levity, is it? We'll see if you are still giving jokes after I've skewered you through, sir. Whatever you have that passes for blood shall spill upon these cobbles.
I
You,
walk
sir.
in front of Farewell,
Yep.
and I pull out my my full regalia of the Summer King.
So yeah, you watch as kind of deckhand Cora walks up and suddenly becomes Bay Knight of the Summer Realm Cora, and you notice that when her full raiment comes together, you never noticed this before, Nick, but at the center of the sun that's on her epaulet, you do see that there's a burning heart on there as well, denoting that she is a Heartsguard. And at the base of the castle, there is a small rounded crown. So instead of a full kind of tiered crown, there's a single kind of crown symbol, which normally denotes the princess apparent. And so her full regalia actually identifies Cora as the princess's Heartsguard. And so you step forward with this full transformation, Cora. What are you going to do?
Boy.
I think you should watch who you pick jewels with, sir. You don't want to pick one with this man. Or with me.
He looks at you, seething, and immediately recognizes the Summerland, the Summer King's raiment, and says, "Am I to believe that he is under you?"
Not in that way.
No. I treat him as my equal. And then I'm gonna burst my hands into flames. Do you want this fight, sir? Because we can have it.
He steps back, gestures in the air, and a rapier appears in his hand.
Oh,
And says,
fight.
"Am I dueling you, my lady, or him?"
Oh,
Who wants fight?
I
Why one of us? We have a whole
Because
posse
it's a duel.
here.
That's how it works. If you want me to bring a second, I will
Oh.
quite happily do so. I happen to know some of the finest duelists in the city.
I would like
Well,
to
that's-
try and Eldritch Blast the sword right out of his hand.
Okay. He's going to make a gesture, and the Eldritch Blast just dissipates and goes, "I'm not the only one with power. Good. Good.
I think this is you and him.
Do me an Arcana check, please, Cora.
Oh no, I don't have great Arcana. Oh, I'm not rolling well today. I need my dice straight.
You have a D4 to add. Don't forget
Shall I
your
use
D4.
D4.
Mystery's Hall?
4.
Oh,
Yeah, you
and I got a 4 with it. What am I doing? An
Yes.
Arcana check.
Yeah.
It's still only a 10. I rolled a 6 and then the 4.
Okay, you recognize the spell, but you don't get the extra information.
Sure.
He just threw a counter spell.
Okay.
It's a cantrip.
As a cantrip. Oh
No,
shit.
no, he just threw a counter spell at a cantrip.
Oh yeah. Well.
Fucking dumbass.
Oh god.
That's so weird.
You're not very bright,
I hope
are
you have more of those. You shouldn't waste them.
I have plenty. Insight check.
Insight
My
check.
passive
Wait,
insight.
insight check.
My
As in,
passive
I insight
insight's
check.
19.
You said that in character, and I was like,
No,
what?
no, I have plenty, and I didn't change my voice. Sorry. He says, I have plenty. Can I have an insight check from anybody?
Yes. That is a non-natural 20. Dirty 20 from me.
Okay.
I
5.
did get a natural 20.
Oh.
This guy is
Insight.
bluffing to fuck. When he says he's got plenty more, he is bluffing.
Yeah.
I with like the badge, I touch it and just go, this guy is so full of shit. To Cora.
We know.
Oh, they know. They know.
Wait, hold on. Let me look at what sort of actual weapons I have. I don't have a sword. I only have a little dagger.
Oh, I go.
I'm so tempted.
I notice that she's not got a sword, and I reach to my waist. I pull out the sword that we got from the Juridan, drop to one knee, hold it out to her, and just go. I would be honored if you killed this fool with my sword.
This is brilliant Glory will have somehow gotten her hands on some snacks in one of the bags, and it's currently like
Rustling through the bag of
kids.
holding. Hang on. Popcorn, there we go.
Yeah, you now have in your
Richie,
hand
wickets.
a +1 scimitar that gives you an advantage on initiative checks.
Yep.
Okay. Plus, I've never used the sword before. To +1 scimitar.
I mean, you
What- I
can
don't
like
even know what that
pretend you're
means.
using it and just use
Oh, hell
Eldritch
yeah.
Blast with
Oh,
it.
oh, probably, yeah. Yeah, if nothing else, just to blast his hair back as he goes. Okay.
The sword
This
will
is
give
this-
you the advantage on the initiative.
This is a
even so.
beautiful sword as well because it's got a full ivory handle that's like in the shape of a roaring lion's head.
Oh, yeah, it's a
for the
Jordan.
Where did we
It's
get
like a
this
pet.
from again?
Yeah,
We
it's-
got it from
it's-
the second Jordan.
Yeah, so we got it from
We bought the big squid monster.
Enemy.
Oh,
We got it from
yeah.
Enemy.
Emery. Yeah. I got it there. I've been practicing with
Envy,
it.
which
and
was
so...
an undead
Aboleth.
Aboleth.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, he was an undead Aboleth. A Nihileth.
And I haven't had the chance to use it. Now you get to stab a fool with it.
If this was a different like type of like thing, Eclipse would be taking bets, but she just doesn't think that anyone would take bets in this like with this hoity-toity
So, my
elf.
lady, are you and I to dance? And you can see that a vapid-looking, I love that word, a vapid-looking high elf woman in a corset that looks like it's cutting off the circulation to her brain walks up and says, Henry, no, you mustn't. And she's trying to pull him away. You notice that now that you look at the two of them, she's high elf, he's only half high elf.
Oh, he's a half elf.
Is
So
this
he's-
full with
oh.
you, my lady?
He just has a temper. That's all. It's okay. I'm sure it's fine. We can talk this out, Henry. We can talk this out. But please, and he goes, no, this man, he doused you. I will not stand for it.
Oh, fuck.
It does seem that this
playing it
man
up
needs
like
to
a-
be taught some manners. Tempers are
No, he's
not
just
good.
he's just fighting for my honor. That's all. And she's simpering. She's straight out of a Mills and Boone novel, for those who know what those are. And please, no, Henry. And he's like, no, and he's kind of. It's almost comical. He's pulling out of her hands, but he's not making that much effort. You know that with his extra physicality, being half human, he could rip out of her grip. As I say, she is vapid. She is.
Simon, I used the Maturgy to start making some tremors appear underneath his feet.
Sure.
just to see if he can hold his thing up. I'm just stood behind Cora, just going, and rumble.
You can tell that that there's a little bit of fancy footwork going on, and he's trying to look like he's trying to rip out of her grasp with all the machismo that he's trying to shove forward. It is clearly an act, but he's not backing down. So saying, I will have my satisfaction, madam. If you are the liege knight for this man, then I will have my satisfaction with you.
I mean, I'm quite happy to kill him.
When you say kill, the already pale high elf woman ends up going a shade paler. She's like, no, and throws her arms around him.
As a cleric of the Raven Queen, it's my duty to ensure that those who have chosen to meet their natural end must be shepherded to them. And I can only think the reason that he would be foolish enough to attack you or me or any of our party would be that he has chosen his time. And I will be dereliction of my duty.
Eclipse is on the floor laughing at this point.
I'd be in dereliction of my duty if I didn't hurry him on. So
you notice that they weren't the only ones promenading. There is an elderly human male and an elderly, well, actually you can't tell that she's elderly, so a more conservatively dressed high elf woman who are looking on this with well-practiced looks of disdain. But anybody who gets a insight check over 15 notices that
passive is 19. So.
Oh right. Yeah. You notice that the grandmother of the elven woman is tremendously amused. She's looking at you with pursed lips, but the eyes are smiling.
I would like when Farewell's talking about hurry him along, I would like to just do a little flick with the sword and send chill touch to the guy.
Okay.
As this is happening, I would like to cast Thaumaturgy to cast ominous whispers all around him, so he thinks that people are whispering that he's a failure, and how dare he challenge someone of the summer court and all that jazz.
Okay,
Nice.
so you watch as Kate. How does the chill touch manifest? It's usually a spectral hand, but you can manifest it any way you like because you're a failure.
I'm gonna I would kind of like to send it towards him, possibly only for his eyes only. I don't know if that's possible, but like straight out the end of the sword towards him as almost a sort of screaming ghostly face of himself, and like straight at his face, like he's just seen his own death.
It's necrotic, so that is absolutely the flavor for necrotic. And so as you flick, this little screaming face goes towards him. He braces and throws up a shield spell.
Oh.
So what's but it's a dex save, isn't it?
I was just trying to look because I don't use it very often. It's make a ranged spell attack. No, it's a ranged spell attack from me.
It is a ranged spell attack. So roll me a spell attack.
I rolled a 19 and my spell attack is a plus 11, so that's a 30, right? Is that right? 30?
Yeah.
That's 30 to hit.
You watch as 30. He jumps back, flicks his hand in the air, and this shield spell goes up. But you focus your will, going, a shield spell? Really? All I did was throw this out for fun. And as you focus, the screaming face gets empowered. And suddenly you feel this rushing up from your feet. And it suddenly covers your entire body as you can feel the connection that the Feywild has with this place. And you've just conjured an unseelie spell. And as you flick it towards him, you can feel this sudden chill wind, almost like you've just stepped out on a cold winter's day, rush over your skin. And you use that extra energy to punch it through his shield. It hits him. Roll for damage.
2d8.
Oh. Yeah, one was a 2. One was a 6. So 6, 7, 8. Yeah. On a hit.
Is he a commoner and has like 10 HP and you almost kill everyone hits?
I know. Right, so he loses that many hit points and he can't regain them.
Yep.
And it clings to him, so it kind of stays there around him, like, I think, and just being this spooky sort of like, like Patronus sort of thing.
That's right. So yeah, whenever I do this as Merrick, I literally go like that with my hands, and a pair of spectral hands start choking the shit out of someone. I love necromancy. But in this case, I'm going to say the screaming face goes up to his, turns and becomes a mask over his own. So there's this ghostly screaming version of his face covering his own face. At that point, he shrieks and falls back on his arse and starts trying to get this thing off his face. And for 6 seconds, he's just lying there on the floor screaming.
Oh, we haven't even started yet.
And the elderly high elf woman walks up and says, "That shall be enough, Henry. I think you've made your point here, milady."
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is like dangerously delving into bullying territory.
Yeah.
This is a bully. Bullies need to be stopped.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true, but not with bullying them back then.
I reach out a hand to shake. I grab the sword and I reach out a hand to this older lady, and whom I you be?
Aveline.
Does
Miss
she take my-
Aveline.
Does she
And
take my hand?
she shakes your hand. She shakes your hand.
Is this your son?
A potential son-in-law. And she
Oh.
takes her walking stick, taps it neatly. You notice the bottom of the walking stick must be tipped with like steel. And she clacks it on the cobblestone, and as she does so, his sword disappears, but so does your the effect of your cantrip.
I wouldn't be too hard on him. I mean, he was brave enough to stand and fight for at least her honor. That should stand him in some good stead.
Was it her
Not
He was
honor,
trying to
or
get
was it his
laid.
own
He's
pride?
like all young men.
Yeah. Pretty sure that was his pride, not her honor. He would have stopped if she asked him to stop, and he didn't.
Indeed.
I was
Thankfully, my
trying to be
daughter
nice
has the sense that
to
she
him.
was brought up with.
You know.
Alas, the search continues. Marie, we shall leave your beau to mop up his own pride. I'm sorry, Harry. Henry is not good. And she walks down the promenade. You notice that the grandmother, even though you soaked all of them, the grandmother is bone dry. She too has prestidigitation. And,
Yes.
yeah,
It is a good spell.
She walks down, and you just leave this guy completely humiliated in the street. At that point, you
Feel
hear
really
a behind you,
Hi.
and a pair of guards in gold armor say, "Let's go."
Oh, they're trying to take us away?
Yeah, they seem almost bored, but slightly amused. But slightly amused look on their face. But you can tell that they are fairly well. They go, "Come on, let's go," and they start walking
He
away.
started it. Why are we in
They have
trouble?
no doubt, miss. This way.
All right.
Farewell,
And
your
these
sword.
two are two burly
Thank you.
high elf guards.
Yes.
With slender
I
curved
walk
swords.
proudly behind them. I'm just gonna keep my regalia on, just like they're leading a procession. Not we're in trouble. Absolutely, like not gonna pretend that this. Not gonna sort of like make it look like they are arresting us or anything. It's just like,
Sure.
oh yeah, we got a procession going. We got a escort here. Type thing.
Yep.
You do realize that Gloria is so on board with that.
Yeah, I feel a bit glory going on. I'm getting the glory vibes. I'm gonna give her a wink. I'm gonna look at her and give her a wink and be like, her
Why you're not?
knowledge is wearing off.
Back. You're just like, yep, you're
Yeah,
doing good.
Glory
Continue.
learned from the best of the whole kind of, head up, shoulders back, boobs out, and walk as if you own the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're
Yeah.
strutting. We're strutting.
Yeah, all of the girls, and then there's Farewell.
You walk into.
At the back, going, this is a lot of fun. So I'm so pleased we pissed off a load of people that were rude to our friends for no reason other than that they were half orcs. I feel much better about today.
So you walk into the barracks, and you're expected cells, interview room, and what you see is that indeed there is there's a door, and you can see some steps going down from the door, and it does say to the cells. And instead of leading you there, they gesture to a bunch of leather armchairs and sofas and says, "If you don't mind, take a seat and be short process."
It's common to know what we're being charged with.
Causing an affray, it would be the normal thing, but mostly it's because the Viceroy's office told us to bring you here. We're just doing our job. And the High Elf goes over to a set of stones that are in small sconces, picks one up, concentrates on it, and says, "Yes, Deputy Underchamberlain, we have them here." And he puts the stone back and says, "An escort will be with you momentarily." And as the other guard comes back with a set of paperwork, he goes, "No, that won't be necessary, please." And very graceful. These guys seem to be the more stereotypical High Elves that you've met. graceful, elegant, capable, precise.
Courteous.
And the guy goes up to a desk that's near the door and just starts writing out his log for the event. And you wait around for about 10 minutes. During that time, a particularly obnoxious high elf woman comes in and starts talking about police brutality. And it takes around about 6 minutes before he distills from her that the police brutality was that one of the guards was very slightly abrupt with her.
Right.
Oh, it's a Karen.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yes.
so, yeah.
Nothing pertaining to current events, which are we should not talk about here because that is
this was written before current events.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't watch the news, so
you get an idea of how spoilt the people in this city are, and it almost makes you feel nostalgic for grey, industrial, exhausted, smelly Ostergald at this point, because everybody here, not so much born with a silver spoon up their mouth, but possibly stuffed up their. Never mind. So the.
This is making me nostalgic.
Oh well,
Yeah.
no. The thing is,
it's like Skara without slavery.
there's no in Skara.
Horrible oppression.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you badmouth a guard in Skara, they will basically break your jaw and take you off to Anublia. So,
that's what I meant. It's like
it's
Skara without
a
the
race of
oppression.
people who worship Bahamut. If you only got a broken jaw, you're lucky.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Even the so-called good guys are brutal there.
you 10 minutes later, after who is now called Karen leaves leaves completely dissatisfied, possibly putting together her strongly worded letter to complain about her complaint. Is oh god, it's Daily. I just realised it's Daily Mail City, isn't it? It's a Daily Mail City.
Yep.
So this very, very exhausted looking courtier steps in, shows a dogged seal, fabric seal, and says, where are they? And he gestures to us. Yes, Ostergald party, I believe.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Are we in trouble?
I'm here to take you to your appointment in the Viceroy's Tower.
I didn't know we
Our
had an appointment.
Of course.
Few people do, milady.
What's the appointment for?
That's none of my
Newcomers, I
business.
assume.
I'm not entirely sure it's yours. Please, come with me. I'm sure that all will be made some variation of clear.
Are we arrested or?
You are compelled. You're new here, aren't you?
Yeah, it was going to be a brief visit. It's not being so brief.
We're just gonna get some people from the docks and then leave. We're not sure why we have an appointment.
He walks up to you and says, I went to university in Meridia. Don't worry, I'm not as local as the others. I'll brief you on the way. Come with me.
Okay.
And
I kind of whisper back, going, "This outfit or something a little more tame."
Keep it.
Keep it.
Yeah, I think keeping it is the best option right now.
yeah,
Cora.
little halfling knight. Love it.
Yeah, and to be fair, it just looks cool.
It doesn't
that's
it?
it.
Very cool.
I mean, I thought
wear
before
it
it was a
more
little too
often.
much, but I'm actually getting used to it now.
Yeah,
No,
you should wear it like almost like when we're out
All the
adventuring. You should
time.
wear it, and people. Yeah.
It's probably the coolest thing I've ever seen you in ever.
And we did see the flaming dress.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this. It's more practical though than
Yeah.
flaming.
I just realised that Cora hasn't told them that you gave away the flaming dress to a drag queen.
No,
but-
that's true.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh shit! 1,000 bits.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, he leads you outside, and outside is something that you've never seen before. But eventually you kind of get, oh, it's that enchantment. It's just dressed up differently. In front of you is a marble disc, approximately 15 foot wide, in diameter, and it's trimmed around the side with brass. And then there are 5 brass curled swan neck pillars, literally with swans' heads on the top, that make up a railing, a brass railing that goes all the way along. And the deputy under chamberlain, as you may have overheard, for the sending, steps underneath the railing and onto the marble platform and says, "If you'd like to join me."
Okay.
Did you say steps
Why has to
underneath the
join in?
railing? Do we have to go under a
Yeah,
railing?
he ducks under the railing.
Cry just walks.
yeah, maybe.
Hashtag halfling things. I don't know why you duck.
Yeah, for her to hold on to the railing, she has to do this. And so, you get onto this thing, and he says, excuse me, elevation, and this thing follows up in the air, and you go, oh, magic carpet, fair enough. And this is a marble and brass magic carpet with a railing. And
Yep.
you start
Ours is
to
nicer.
go 10 foot, 20 foot, 40 foot, 60 foot up in the air. And the city just shrinks below you, and you can see how beautifully perfect these concentric rings are.
I mean, if you wanted a carpet, we have one.
I'm not giving my carpet. Our
It would have been dispelled if it went
Why?
anywhere near the tower. Best not to get it out while you're here. We're very particular on zoning permits.
So
Of
why are
course.
we having an appointment?
Simply because the Viceroy said to. You're going to be it'll be my boss's boss that will be speaking with you. The Viceroy will be in attendance, but that's about it. So things you need
So
to know.
what? We don't talk to the Viceroy?
No. Not unless you're invited to.
Okay.
Why?
Wait.
Of course.
Okay,
I'll dock this at my office, and I can brief you on the way. But we need to be quick.
Okay, what should we say? What should we not say? We've spoken to a dragon before. It was very scary. Is this the same?
That's scary.
I look at the
mean,
clips
to be-
remembering what happened after we spoke to a damn dragon.
I mean, to be fair though, speaking to an ancient dragon and then speaking to like a viceroy, I mean, come on, the dragon wins every single time. I mean, he's not that
does.
impressive. He's just got a fancy title. He's not actually a giant dragon that takes up like 3/4 of this room just because he can't be asked to show like a human form. He just wants to sit in full. Sorry.
That's why
Viceroy is
he
dragon.
has 2 thrones. One for when he's a dragon and one when he uses human form.
You watch as the deputy under Chamberlain
Oh, that
seems to be looking more impressed and scared.
that makes a hell of a lot. Yeah, sorry. We should really explain that. Yeah, we're not making this up, and equally, he's not the first important person we're seeing. We're just not used to them thinking that we can't talk to people because that makes them important. The real powerful ones don't tend to care. So
Grandfather
you might
was
need
quite
to.
happy to meet you guys.
Well,
Yeah, he was,
we
yes.
didn't say a word to him, but yes.
He was disarmingly polite for a giant dragon.
That's gonna bite their head off if we say the wrong thing.
Or
Typically,
eat us.
dragons don't need to be rude, sir.
Mhm.
At
That's
least
very,
as far
very
as I have been told.
Is your viceroy a dragon?
No. But
I just
anyway,
wanted to make sure.
you'll know this in your second briefing. The first briefing is kind of a boon I'm giving you. Let me just park, please. Conjoinment, and the disc docks up with a. This is around about 200 foot up in the air now. Docks with the side of the huge golden tower, the smaller of the two, and it meshes perfectly, turning into a balcony. And as it does so, the railing that is conjoined with the tower disappears, and now it just looks indistinguishable from a balcony. This is my office, and you walk in, and it has a little desk, tons of paperwork, scrolls. You can see that there's a large snow owl that is on a perch, and he walks up and says, "Hello, Minerva," and gives it a very loving stroke. And he gestures to the chair that's on the opposite side of his desk, and where there was once one chair, there's now four. He says, "Please take a seat."
Right, Eclipse will sit down.
So, as I say, though I was born here, I was raised mostly in Meridia. My father had business out there, and so I went to university there, and I'm a little more worldly than your average courtier. So yes, that's probably why I haven't risen that high. Although you're like, yeah, you've risen 200 foot high, you've risen plenty. So the Viceroy, yes, typically you won't even see him. I doubt that he will give you the privilege of looking upon him. But he will be in the room, and you're not to talk to him directly unless invited to.
Right.
You'll probably be speaking with my boss's boss, the Chamberlain, who will speak for the Viceroy.
Right.
You will answer any questions.
Why would they have someone that speaks for them? That's just...
It's
like
just his
politics.
way.
Not even my aunt does that.
And
She's a high priestess.
And he
No.
looks at her, looks at you, kind of trying to gauge who the fuck you are, because he has no idea. And he's...
I'll be honest. I can tell you right now that knowing all of us, this is going to go horribly, and that this is an incredibly poor idea. And I know that you are unfortunately the messenger, and you seem actually kind of nice and not an asshole, considering the... How long have we been in this city now? Like an hour, maybe
Yeah, a
two?
few hours, yes.
2-3 hours.
I mean, and we've met a lot of assholes in those sort of relative short period of time. So
We have a very particular culture, so yes.
I figured as much. I don't want you to get shot in the... not in the literal or metaphysical sense.
Oh, that's fine.
So-
I'm well protected, so thank you for thinking of me. But
No, what I'm suggesting is that this conversation doesn't happen, and that your Viceroy...
oh no, this is all behind closed doors, sir. This never happened. This is me just. This is me giving a boon and trying not to have so much paperwork to fill out, if you understand me. As far as everybody's concerned, I'm bringing you straight to the Chamberlain. Of course, the Chamberlain understands that never happens, and that usually I would be asking for a bribe or something along those lines, depending on what type of person I was, or at least trying to find any information that I could use to sell. Again, it's a particular culture, sir. Anyway, that's not what you need to know. I think it's good news. I think the Viceroy is going to offer a boon of you. I think he's going to offer help. I think Duke Edmund Ostmark
Has he been in contact with the Viceroy?
contacted the Viceroy, and the Viceroy is willing to offer a certain amount of assistance. Just keep him in... Just
we're not in trouble.
Say he was. He would be helping
why would you be in
us out.
trouble? Why would you be in
Because
trouble?
we
That
dueled
Because-
nothing,
guy.
Eclipse. Doris stabs her in the back with her tail.
We all
No,
look
no.
incredibly guilty at one another, like, because we always get into trouble. That's kind of what we do no matter where we go.
He kind of just gives a shrug of resignment, saying, as if to say, "Yeah, welcome to Goldastamount. This happens every day." He's not at all surprised, and so yeah, he says,
Thank you.
he says, "Yes, don't worry. This is the Viceroy just doing his business. A powerful dignitary asks something of him. He wants to make sure that person stays in his debt, so he's going to give you some sort of aid. Just make sure you don't annoy him. That's all I was going to bring you in here to say. Act very grateful, act very complimentary. Even if you don't like him, just say how grateful you are and how
Right.
Okay, so Glory does all the talking. Right, got it.
Yes, that was what I was gonna say.
Okay. Well,
yeah, you've got this one, Glory.
yeah, I think you're ready. I'll take you to the Chamberlain.
Would this be a good place to take a break?
I was
Simon?
about to say,
Yes.
yeah, you head through a bunch of beautifully adorned halls that seem to glow with amber light. And as you do so, we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Woohoo!
For those of you who are watching, if you enjoyed our particular brand of chaos so far, please check out our Discord below where we'll be discussing our new projects coming up. We've got a few different ideas we're going to be tossing around. And if you don't want to have yet another Discord to keep track of, then why not give us a follow? We will see you in 10 minutes.
Also, just a quick thank you to all the bits from you, Mr. E-Hole, and
Yes,
thank you to
thank
me
you for all
for
the
giving
bits
us some bits.
and the followers. Yes, Corinne for like trying to get that train going.
Thank you, Sam.
She's trying to get that train started, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you very much for everyone. We will. Yes, we will.
And
Yes,
thank
and
you for all the
thank you for
follows.
the
We
follows.
will have credits at the end with you all. But yes, we're going to go and get
Go
recaffeinated.
stretch your legs and various things.
This was
yes.
done. So
Yeah.
yes, stretch your legs. Go look at something other than the TV screen, and we will see you in 10
Get
minutes.
something to drink. Drinking is good.
Okay.
As in water.
I have my coffee pot. Everything is fine.
See you later. And welcome back, everybody. When we left off, the Deputy Under Chamberlain of the Viceroy's Town in the pretentious and spoilt High Elf city of Goldaston was taking our party to see the Chamberlain, who will be representing the Viceroy, who has apparently been contacted by Duke Edmund Ostermark, who is their effectively their patron of the city. He's the ruler of the city in which they live. And you walk through these beautifully gilded corridors. The thing that you notice is that as you approach, you do see that there are people who are about to step out from kind of side alleys or side corridors. They take one look at your guide and immediately duck back into doors or walk the other way in such a way that you are completely untouched anywhere on the way there. The corridors open up into a large antechamber that has books on the walls and several sets of coffee tables with armchairs. There are some writing desks over in the corner, and this seems to be where people of state would be received. And as you step up, your guide, who, I don't think I've given you his name. No. His name is Alberman Tross.
I'm not gonna pronounce that.
Alberman Tross. I just need to mark down that you've
Is it Tross or Cross?
Tross. Tross.
You know, think time to talk to
Okay.
Got a mess going on in chat. Ignore it.
He gestures to the sofas, at which point a herald comes out and says, "That won't be necessary. They're waiting for you. You're late." And
I didn't even know we had an appointment.
And Alberman steps up to you and goes, "It's okay. Everybody's always late. Come."
It's fashionably late anyways.
And you walk up this quite substantial set of stairs, like the type of stairs you'd find in old movie theaters. And they are oddly shaped, steep, and there's about 30 steps in total. And it says, let me see. I think only Glory would get this. Glory, do me an intelligence check.
Yeah.
You big brain.
Yeah, big brain.
Big brain. Big brain Glory.
Big brain Glory got a 19.
19. So yeah, you know that this staircase is deliberately made to make someone feel awkward. It's it's one of those things, and you know that subtly, not all of the stairs are the same size. And so it's meant to get you to overextend. Yeah.
Satman, you just had to put in one of those. I watched this morning a video clip where they basically treated Victorian-made stairs like it was a killer trap, and it was like they really did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is something that's well known in architecture, where they will have optical illusions and things as well. Where you think you're putting your foot firmly on the stair and you only put it part on, and sometimes you'll stub your toe.
It will have to make a very very good willpower check to not just climb on the wall on the side.
Cat goes, "Fuck this! There's a banister."
Eclipse is like, "This doesn't make sense. Something is wrong."
I mean, for you, Eclipse, because you've got high coordination and dexterity, you're able to nimbly walk up these stairs, kind of going, "Oh, look, this one's slightly smaller, this one's slightly different, this one's at a slight angle." It's made to make you look inelegant and feel clumsy and inept.
But Eclipse is so graceful. She's graceful anyway, fuckers.
So, every day then?
And Glory, you've sussed out what this thing is for as well. So you're gliding up these stairs.
The kids call a move.
Indeed.
And so
much to follow, Lister.
you get up to the top of the stairs, and there's these two very large doors in front of you. Again, these big pompous doors, around about 15 foot tall by about 10 foot wide. And there's this clonk from inside, substantial lock that opens. And these two things open up into a reception chamber that could easily be a ballroom, especially for a halfling, Kate. You find yourself dwarfed as these doors were big. The chamber inside is even larger, easily 30 to 40 foot tall, with frescoes on the sides of the walls, going all the way up to the vaulted ceiling. And you can see that they are of all sorts of things. They're about epic battles, fantastical creatures, scenes of mythology, and what I can only describe of as Renaissance porn. As you're walking through, and there seems to be no apology for the amount of ostentatiousness that they're placing in front of you. And you see a dais that is around about, again, about 40 foot ahead of you, probably a bit more. And the dais has another set of marble stairs that go up. And at the top, where normally you would find a throne, there is instead what you would probably describe as a vanity screen, the type of screen that they would have for people to change behind. So beautiful filigree panels. This one seems to be made of solid gold, and it's surrounding where a throne would be on the top of the dais. And at the top of the throne, there is at the top of the dais, next to the large screen, there is a large wooden chair. It's kind of stately, but it's no throne. And sat upon that is a high elf in white and gold robes. And he, as you approach, he stands up. But there are some guards at the front that when you get around about 10 foot towards the bottom step of this dais, they hold out their hands, full plate mail, full tower shield and glaive, and they hold out and say, "Halt! No further."
Halt.
The figure at the top stands up, and with beautiful acoustics that rain down with his booming voice below, he says, "You find yourself in the presence of the great Viceroy of Goldaster Mount. You will not speak directly to him. Instead, you will address me as befits your station. The Viceroy has been contacted by your Empress through the Duke Edmund Ostermark III. They have begged the mighty Viceroy and the Lord that he represents to aid you in a quest that is a personal matter for one of the nobility. As such, we have agreed to lend some support. Thus is the mercy, cooperation, and wisdom of the great Viceroy of Goldaster Mount. You may address the Viceroy directly to show your appreciation."
Thank you for taking us like this on such a short notice. It's an honor to be in your present, Viceroy.
The Chamberlain continues, "Yes, it is. I'm sure that you will mark this day and mention it to your children for generations to come. So, we do have questions in the administrative arm of the city. Your coming here, we have no issue with. I understand that this was the most convenient harbor for you to conduct your mission. And as such, we show our famous hospitality to you all. However, I think that in the name of cooperation, that we should know a little more about your mission, as far as you are able to tell beyond the orders of your betters. Furnish me, please, with the details of your mission.
We seek to retrieve a wayward soul that has, not been in contact for quite some time, and, interested parties are quite worried.
Retrieval, rescue, or bounty. I see. And he looks behind the screen. From your vantage point, you can't see anything. There's a mumbling behind the screen. And he looks back and says, very well. This is of no major interest to us as long as you can give your oath that the person that you pursue is not a citizen, member, dignitary, or member of the nobility of Sylvania. Is this the case?
He is not.
And you give your oath?
Yes.
Very well. In that case, seeing as you have, for the most part, behaved yourself within the city, we are happy for you to ask a boon of us. It is our understanding that you are looking for a crew for your ship. Is this not?
Yes.
Very well. If you wish, we can send you 20 of our best hired sailors, all military trained and all ready to serve. They will happily take part of your crew.
Well, that is quite a gracious boon. We have already started our recruitment of sailors that will work with the captain we brought from Ostergald.
Who shall no doubt be a disappointment compared to the great navy of Goldastermount.
Indeed, but we would not wish to be overly eager for your help, for we do not know if we will be returning to Goldastermount on our way back.
Our crew can find their way back. They will be welcome in any university to take a star door here.
In that
Are
case,
you rejecting our gift?
No. Of course not. I'm simply saying that 20 is a bit too much for our Renaissance crew. We have plans for a smaller ship in order to quickly catch up to the one we are pursuing.
Ah, I see. It is that our gift is too generous.
Yes.
Often found fact. How many people would you like to supplement your crew of specialists?
If I may, Chamberlain, items may be of more use than manpower. We like to work light and swift. It allows us more flexibility and maneuverability to react and handle things delicately, especially when we are serving the nobility. They prefer a deft hand rather than a heavy one, and as such, potions of healing and water breathing and scrolls of magic and magical boons are more useful in such work than, say, 20 well-trained soldiers that are hard to hide, no matter how well they are trained.
Very well. You fear the wrath of your noble patron, and as such you want to stick with your current mode of operations. We can understand. He looks behind the screen once more. There's a low-level muttering that doesn't reach you. And he says, very well. We can give lockets of water breathing.
That would be quite a generous gift.
Yes.
Very well. Each locket will contain 6 days of breathing. They will be ready by Sunday.
Thank you.
We need to innovate.
What day is it today, Simon? How many days away did... But he said that they will be ready by
We were going to set out later today anyway, so I'm sure we will get them before we set
did
off.
you say sundown? I heard Sunday.
Oh, no, not Sunday, sundown, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, at the end of
that's
the day,
why I was wondering. I was
Sundays are not real. We don't have Sundays.
But that's what I was wondering. I was like, how long is Sunday? Okay, cool.
To be fair, Sunday is a bit of a bullshit day anyway. I mean,
First
no
time you
one-
guys have ever asked for a date, I nearly had a panic attack.
I'm
It's like,
sorry.
I know we're getting to the end of the year.
I thought you were
like,
giving
shit.
us like we've got to hang around here for like days, and I was like, oh god, we got to hang around here for a few days. Are we kidding? We got into a fight within hours.
That is an old Evernote. That is a very old Evernote.
It's fine. I don't need to know.
We do not need a date, Simon. You can take a look at that later.
Yeah, it's somewhere in Frostfire. Yeah, because I use the Tamriel calendar as a tip of the hat for all the wonderful Elder Scrolls adventures that I've been on. Starting with Daggerfall. I'm old, what can I say? So, yes, I think it's somewhere like the 7th of Frostfall. So, yeah.
Somewhere.
Which, that is getting quite... It's getting quite cold in Ostergald. Here is in Sylvania. You note that where you are is more leaning towards the summer and the Sealy Court. As a result, it's kind of like a crisp spring morning. The air is a slight chill to it, but the sun is beating down on you beautifully. It's only cold in the shade here. Okay.
To be fair, that makes Glory and Eclipse pretty much at home because warmth.
Yeah, warmth. So Eclipse, if it gets too humid hot, like it was.
Eclipse doesn't handle the humidity. Glory grew up in the
She molts
humidity.
everywhere. It's a thing. Yeah.
And she's
get all
panting
frizzy
all the time because she can't sweat, so she's panting.
Yeah, panting all the time. Yeah. Thankfully, being on a ship, you can just kind of control water her farewell. So.
Yes.
Very well. A simple rescue mission. How boring. Thankfully, you will be given something worthy of more glory in future.
Right.
I mean, if you do happen to find any potions of healing that are lying around, we would never say no, albeit your necklaces are incredibly generous anyway.
We will see how far the Viceroy's generosity goes. He will meditate on it.
Yes. His generosity knows no bounds, and we are so grateful. Thank you very much.
Yes, as you said. Very well. What a pleasant and polite bunch of employees. I wish we had more of your kind ourselves. And I see that we have a knight keeping the rabble in order, I see. Sarah, will you announce yourself? You have remained quiet so far. Doing what I'm sure my own patron, he gestures towards the petition, is doing and making sure that your lessers are doing the work.
Oh, I am just being respectful for the Viceroy. Plus, I have no need to speak. There is nothing I need to say.
When you've trained your minions so well, they are able to do everything else as necessary. The Viceroy himself only needs to be here present for me to conduct his work, and I simply get his seal of approval. He will pick up with me anything that I do wrong, of course. At this point, farewell. Give me a insight check.
Okie dokie.
Go farewell. Go farewell.
Not amazing. 19.
19. You have a feeling that the Chamberlain is playing up the fact that the Viceroy is behind the screen a bit too much.
Yeah. He's not.
So not.
Methinks he's spending too much time mentioning that the Viceroy is there.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yes. What do you mean he's turning the handle that keeps me moving? Dance, my little puppets. Oh.
Very well, Sirrah. A member of the Summer King's court here is always a wonderful occurrence. We ourselves are descendant from his court, you know. The Viceroy himself is a descendant of a very powerful true Fae related to your king. So if anything, you are traveling to the bounds of your own nation, milady.
Indeed. Thank you for your time. We really must be going.
It is
And
the
I look towards
Viceroy's
the curtain
decision
as
to
well and be
whether
like,
you...
and yours.
Was that,
boy.
what was the and yours?
I look towards the curtain as if there's somebody there. Just shout, and yours. For your time, your time. I'm trying to get out of there before any of us say the wrong thing or I
You
pull a
forget
face.
yourself, Sirrah. It is down to the Viceroy to dismiss you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he looks behind the screen and goes, thankfully, he is in agreement. You may leave.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your kindness. Goodbye.
I just walk out.
Glory just
turns
grabs
around and just
Eclipse
walks.
and like, nope.
I was just thanking you.
out. I want out. I'm bored.
I'm trying not to. Trying not to grimace too much. Give him a little nod.
I love the fact that you're the one grimacing.
You're like just smiling and it's turning to this like weird.
It's this really false kind of like, oh, I hate everything about this, and it's just like,
Oh,
As you come out, Alderman is wringing his handkerchief with a slight patina of sweat on his brow and says, okay, you did okay. You did fine. At the end, you weren't given permission to say goodbye to the Viceroy.
we were done.
The chances are this is going to be the only time we're here, so it really matters very little to us.
Well, let's just
and the fact
stay on his good side. What did you get from him?
Not a whole lot.
We got some lockets of water breathing.
Lockets. Okay,
Yeah,
he usually
gave
give out
us
jewelry.
20 soldiers, but really that was
Now,
way
20
too
soldiers, that's exactly what he would normally give out.
Yeah, no,
much. Yeah, we
we
have no use for that.
we don't really have any use for that, so that's why we said okay.
Did he seem insulted in any way that you
No.
changed his offer, or
Of
No.
course not, because his offer was just too grand of one.
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like you've and you have a feeling he's about to use a word like toadying. It sounds like that you have presented your case very well. Okay.
Oh, please. I grew up in a court of dragons. This is nothing.
And so
Come on now.
So you keep saying, milady.
We didn't actually get given anything, right? We've just been told we're gonna get this. We haven't got
Yes.
got anything, right?
Yeah,
We
so
haven't
that's-
got it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can't make arcane checks on them yet because we don't have them.
A cleric, sorry, not a cleric, a clerk comes out from a side door, walks up and whispers in Albumin's ear, and he goes, "Okay, and have they been given permission to go anywhere else in the city?" No, back to the docks. I'll take them there immediately. This way, please. And he's saying, "Well, strange, you're dignitaries, but he didn't give you. That's very strange. You're a knight, and you're an ambassador, and you're a member of the clergy."
I promise you that.
And
the fact
I'm
that
me.
I promise you that the fact that we can't go anywhere in this god's forsaken city is not a bad thing. We want to leave as much as you want us to go.
Yeah. The docks is where we want to be.
I find you rather pleasant, but yes, that I think it's probably for the best. Let's go. And he takes you back to his office. You get onto the balcony, and he says, "Descend." And it separates the the barrier comes back, the railing, and you descend down past all the concentric circles. You can see below you the different circles. The circle up from the docks is mostly kind of terraced and pressed together. It's still very beautiful housing, very kind of layered, very kind of Arabian Nights kind of arrangement to the houses.
Why do they do it
Further
like
up
this?
again, you've got more detached houses, and then in the layer that just about gets to the towers and the castle below, there is all of the houses not only detached, but they all have large gated gardens around them as well. And you're just there going down. You can almost feel like you're going down the class lines, almost like contour lines on a map, until you touch down and you can smell the sea air once again all around you.
Right, let's find our captain before. Let's see if they got themselves into trouble as much as we did.
So you're pretty much where you started, and Albumin says, "Thank you for being not complicated, and fare yourself well."
I'm sorry, can we quote you on that? We're probably going to need it somewhere down the line.
Farewell.
He looks at you and goes, but of course. And do I have to sign anything?
I hold my book out and just go, just on there, please, thank you.
Have you written down his quote?
But it's in the pen that I've now been attuned to.
It's complete gibberish.
It's complete gibberish, and then I'm like,
these are unintelligible symbols. Is this some sort of magical contract? I'm afraid I can't sign.
No, it's absolutely not magical contract.
Here,
I swear on my
farewell.
honor is.
Use this pen and write it down
thank
again.
you. And then
You
I
can't
write
read that.
underneath. Right underneath it his exact quote with his name, and then I'm like the date. Like, and then I sort of go witnessed, and then I sign it, and then I give it to Glory with the pen, so she can also sign it as a witness. I'm like, thank you very much.
And he signs it, the Right Honourable Albumin Truss, AFBIL, Deputy Under Chamberlain to the Viceroy's Office, Gold Astamount. His signature is longer than the quote.
Yeah. That
Perfect.
might be useful at some point.
The fact that we've got his actual signature and full title and a symbol of his own handwriting, that will be useful later down the road.
And he gives you a curt bow, steps onto the platform, and says, elevate again, and it goes up, and you watch him.
Well, my dears, should we find our captain, and hopefully she has acquired a crew.
A window explodes and a guy hits the deck.
Oh, dear.
Katia's head comes out and goes, rejected, and puts her head back in.
Somebody owes me $5.
I see recruitment is going well.
Well, it's still gonna be hard to find them.
Upheld.
Yeah. Let's go
The
and talk
burly
and see
human
what's...
that she's just defenestrated gets up and goes, come on, I'll take you all on, and then falls off the dock into the water.
I walk off to the edge, jump off, fish him back out. And I'm like, is he alive?
Yeah, he's alive, just incredibly drunk.
Okay, and recovery position, clear his airway, don't move.
Let's go.
Farewell, sweetie.
Hmm?
Coming?
This is
yeah,
why
it's
bars
just-
right next to the docks are never a good idea. Wonder.
Do you know what? It's not actually the worst. Because usually
I mean,
there's-
I
water
guess you wake
usually
up-
sobers people up, and I
True.
suppose the salt would drive out the alcohol.
It's more to do with the fact that they're more so acutely aware of falling into the water and drowning that they tend not to go in that direction. That it's a really weird, like, drunk radar that directs them into things. It's the dark alleys. That
He
you
doesn't have that
to watch
radar.
out for.
Oh.
I think that's got more to do with the blunt force trauma and the concussion.
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
He didn't come out the door.
I mean-
I forgot. Yeah. He
Yeah,
came
I
out of a
mean-
window.
In his
Right.
defense, going through the window head first was probably the start of his problems.
As you head towards the tavern, you notice that the window is breaking in reverse. It's
Oh, magic. It'll probably
We should
happens
get
I
one of
a lot.
wonder how
we should-
many times it has broken today.
I was gonna
We
say,
should get
probably
one for
happens a-
Noki.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
he-
yeah.
yeah. Because the next time Cora breaks something in the house, it just fixes itself.
Yeah.
what's the defenestrate version of the roof?
Yeah. All
Fenestra
I'm
is
gonna
window. I'm trying to think what's the French for roof.
say- all I'm going to say is, I wasn't the one that decided to build a tower in the middle of my bedroom.
Exactly.
No.
Only Kura
Well,
does stuff like
farewell.
that.
You were the one who had a wormhole in your bed, so...
Yes, true. You had to work. You decided to.
Technically, that was above my bed, and that was because of the knife. That had nothing to do with me whatsoever.
Right, it's
And the tower was deliberate by me. Is that what you're saying?
You didn't spend any time trying to figure out what it was.
I
You
thought I
just
knew what
switched
it was.
on.
I'm dumb.
Whatever. And I walk off towards the tavern. I actually, as I walk off, I'm like, I'm a knight of the Summer King. I'll have you know.
Oh dear. I think we should probably just
I totally change back into normal Cora as I walk into the tavern, though. I don't. It's a
When
tavern.
you get
I just
into
want
the
to drink.
tavern, you notice that there is a wizard who is finishing the mending cantrip.
Yeah.
Oh, right, it's the mending.
He's ritual casting the long version of mending on the window.
Mending
You
Oh,
can
that's
watch it as the
cantrip,
cracks are
though.
going.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
was a magic window.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, more
Do you
a
know what?
decent way
I
of getting a
might be
free
able
drink.
to reverse engineer
Just for a
it
can
into
fix.
a enchantment for the windows.
Well, that's true.
Give me
You
a
could-
few nights and I'll make a rough sketch of what will be needed, and then we can propose the idea to Noki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll install them in Kora's room.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to start there first. I mean,
I
you
suppose
could
we'll
only-
start with your two rooms since they're next to each other and seem to attract trouble.
And currently
Yeah.
don't
Unlike
have roofs.
our side of the hallway.
Yeah, our side is much better. It doesn't break.
Oh, doesn't it?
yeah.
And I pull out the
It
little gold
shouldn't have-
thing and flip it and catch it again and be like,
Yeah. I was going to say, you really shouldn't have said that to either of us.
I
We will
suppose
remember
not.
that.
Yeah.
Lucky for you, I only sleep there occasionally.
Yeah. Okay, so beer, glory,
I'll take some wine.
wine. Okay, cool. I'll be right back. And I go to the bar.
Okay. You can see where the recruitment is going ahead. There's a few people who are speaking to Sandera as she's got a sea route map out, and she's there kind of pointing out various bits to them and all the rest of it. And she's handing a marker and a sextant to them and getting them to prove that they know how to do things like navigation and all the rest of it. You also notice that there is a length of rope on the table that has been knotted up into various knots. Some of them who are on the physical part of the test are currently doing a tug of war, but they have to do it with their arm at 90 degrees. They all have a rope each that they're holding that's coming out of the top of their fist. They have to hold it at 90 degrees, and they have to resist as Katya has all the ropes twisted around her fist and with one arm is pulling them back, and they're all straining to pull her back. She's basically got a cat and nine tails tug of war going on with what you can tell is 11 different sailors. And they are looking scared that they're about to lose.
Yep.
I think we did the right choice in picking these people. They have a very thorough recruitment process here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Is
and
there-
I
is
do
there a-
like watching a woman dominating.
Right. Is there a line
Are
of
they
anyone who
looking,
looks like
Lori?
they've actually
Looking?
been recruited, or does it all look like everyone went out the window?
Yeah, there's a half elf who sat there with what looks like his own set of navigator's tools, and he's currently sipping some sort of liquor out of a glass and smiling and looking at the tug of war contest that's going on ahead. And there's a Goliath who is stood there as well, and he's kind of bristling with muscles. His neck is thick as hell, and he's just stood there, kind of going at the boys who are pulling at Katya. Katya has her arm at right angles, and that's apparently part of the rule, is that you have to keep it at right angles. And she's just watching their arms.
Yeah, because that's a lot harder, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because if you have to keep it there, it means you're engaging the entire arm.
Yeah.
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 She's looking for people who pull on ropes. Yeah, it's a very specific thing.
I put all the drinks on the table and go, so, how many are we up to?
I think 2.
That's better than I
Can't really
expected.
tell.
And Katya grunts, short list of 16.
Oh!
Oh!
And she's pulling back at these guys. One guy suddenly just, his arm just goes like that, and she goes, out, and pulls. And the others think that they kind of look to see, and they're like, oh my god, now there's one less of us. And she just hefts at it again. You notice that there is a tiefling woman who is pulling at Katya and just giving it all she's got. She's peeling back her lips, revealing these nasty dagger-like teeth. Her red eyes over this kind of terracotta skin are ablaze with this kind of effort. And she's got these 2 ram's horns that kind of curl around her ears and come at spikes that just come underneath her chin, to the point where if she was to open her chin too wide, it would pretty much rest on the tips of the horns. And she's fairly well built, and you can see she's a hoofed tiefling, and you can't see a tail. And she is pulling back, broad-shouldered, and you have a feeling that Katya's already kind of said, yeah, we're having that one. And so, yeah, they're distilling the crew at the moment. Sandera walks up to you and says, so we've got some who are more skills-based, others who are more physical-based. So we've got a second navigator, and she points over to the half-elf. And we've got an underbosun as well, and she points to the Goliath, and she says, we should be ready. We should have everybody we need.
Oh, right. See, how many was it we looking for in the first place? We were looking for
10.
You were looking for 10.
Yeah. 10 including us or 10 excluding us?
10 excluding us.
10 excluding us, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
excluding you 3, as I volunteered to do the navigation, because
Oh,
I've got
yeah.
really good
Yeah.
survival, so
Yeah.
I technically fall into the crew role.
So they can have about 11. I'm not going to name all the crew. Just
No.
know that they're there.
Yeah.
If it becomes relevant, they'll gain names.
Underling 1 to 10. Right.
Yep.
A sailor, B sailor, C sailor, D sailor.
Servant
You
1,
no
2,
longer
3,
have a
4.
number.
There's sailor, whaler, daler, mailer, flailer.
You Pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble and Grub.
Yep.
Oh, that takes me back.
Yeah, I know. I'm really showing how old I am with that one.
I do not understand it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's very
that's-
British and
It's
very
a very,
old.
Very British
it's a
now.
very
British
old
cartoon.
British cartoon, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's within about an hour, they distill down to the
Oh,
10 people that you...
please. These guys are already my cannon fodder.
Yeah,
Fine.
we haven't named them. You can't
It's
kill
not
them if
friend-
they're
it's-
named. Well,
I was about to say, it's not friendly fire if you're not friends with them.
Exactly.
I Hi, my name is... No, don't spoil.
No.
no,
Trust me, you won't live long enough for me to remember it. Carry on.
So the Goliath stands up and goes, when are we going to get to see the ship?
Oh yeah, let's show them ship.
I dig into a bag and bring out a brick and toss it.
Put the brick on the
Completely
table.
over his head. He's like,
Don't worry your pretty head about it. There'll be a ship.
he
I'm
looks
having
at
my
you.
beer.
You said that he had a pretty head, and he thinks that's good. He just smiles. He's doing very much the kind of thing. As if that was a perfectly satisfactory answer.
What
And-
time is it?
Fair
Are we like...
Sailors.
We haven't eaten anything yet today. We came in the morning, did we?
Yeah,
Or was
we
it
eat
afternoon?
dinner, and then
it's
I
just about
assume the
lunchtime,
stuff arrives.
All right, I will head over to the bar and not only get the second round, I will order some dinner. for
So you may
everybody.
die, but the risk I'm willing to take.
Thankfully, you are in a sailor's tavern. So instead of having the very kind of highbrow, poncy, lambus bread type food that you would get in a lot of the more highbrow places here, he does have decent fare. So broth and stew and pies and various haunches of meat. So yeah,
Getting me
it's
a
good
pie.
farmhouse fare.
Can't go to the pub and turn up the pie. I mean,
Pie and a lager, lovely.
yeah. Pint and a
Lovely,
half, man.
mate.
Someone's got a little self-respect.
Yeah, and
It
besides,
is.
you have to get Eclipse her daily dose of fish.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Freshly caught fish.
I mean, it's not going to be as good as Noki's cooking. I think we've all
No.
accepted that.
No.
You know, we're a little spoiled there.
So yep, you
I
You
don't think
kind
we'll
of-
get salmon from the sea, but we can try.
fish is
Oh,
definitely
I
on the menu. It's a coastal town, and so yes, you can get that as well. And
Don't worry, Eclipse. If you want fish when we're out at sea, we can throw you in and you can catch some for yourself.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, and I want to round it all, and then Farewell can go and correct me.
Exactly.
so the tavern pretty much
Sure.
is your place where you are camping out in for the rest of the day, unless there's anything you specifically want to do.
No, because we'll just get ourselves in trouble. We can't really go anywhere other than the dock, so we're just gonna hang out here until.
Yeah.
We'll just chill out.
It's only fun when you hand them the rope to hang themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the temptation is just to sit here and get drunk for the next 4 hours whilst
Yeah.
they finish. Just watch our two new hires work, and then just sit there and get drunk, and it'll be like, I think I understand nobility a little bit better. This is actually
This is
quite
what I'm
fun.
telling you. Having people to do everything for you is the best.
Yeah, and
The only
I
thing
will.
they can't do is read your books for you. But I've tried that. You don't remember as much then.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I've
got
always
someone
found
to
like
read
public
to me.
read, going to a book club and having people read different bits actually is really relaxing.
Oh, it's relaxing, all right, but you won't remember any of your school material if your maid reads it for you.
Yes, that's I was thinking like fiction, not like study materials.
Yeah, and we will absolutely take your childhood at face value there. That's yeah. I will say this though, at least in your city, that they're rather upfront about everything. It's none of this pretentious assholishness there.
No,
And
this is
I
a
knew-
lot less deadly. At least we didn't you didn't get
Nah.
thrown into jail for insulting this random guy.
Hey, we haven't
I
left
think-
yet. Let's not push it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
to be fair, we
And
have to
I
still
am
sail out
still
of here.
surprised you managed to get thrown into an oubliette when we were there.
Well, your cousin is very, very touchy.
Of course she is. She's my cousin.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I'm still not quite sure how that situation ended up. I don't get it. I go away for one afternoon, and you're in prison after having afternoon tea. It's just how.
How is it baffling? We were in a It's run by dragons. Who? Where's?
walked.
We're not getting
I
back
walked
into that.
from Glory's house to a teleportation port. Went to a different city. Went shopping. Met people. Made kind of a friend. I really do need to check up on her. I'm a little worried. I think she's still angry at me. And
the lady you may or
Now-
may not have made pregnant.
Okay, so you made someone
Is that
angry.
that lady?
Now it comes
in
out.
no way
yeah.
did that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You're winding me up again, and that's not fair. That's not funny.
You never really explained what you
We're
did when you went
teasing you
away,
very
and I'm just
well.
wondering, how much
Yeah,
trouble you got into.
She was very angry and she was very upset and she wanted to speak to you with you in private after you spent some private moments with her. We don't know what was going on.
It's
I
an
turn
easy
around.
mistake to make.
I slide out of the booth that we're in. I turn around and I sort of like roll up, like, because I've got like this sort of like a tabard of like the Raven Queen over the top, over the top of most of the armor. I point to like this symbol of Ioun. It's like in between Farewell's shoulder blades on the back plate, and I'm like,
it's like an Egyptian eye, and you guys recognize it as the Eye of Ioun.
Yeah.
I'm like
the all-knowing mistress, although typically tends to be non-binary as a god.
I'm like this. This.
Yes, but how are we supposed to know that she wasn't just an Ioun follower?
And then she made you a very pretty armor when you knocked her up.
Yes.
I just don't think you're being rather reasonable now. This is just not funny. I try and eat your pies. Sit back down. Sulk.
Eclipse is very happy that we managed to focus on Farewell's faults instead of hers.
Again.
It's the typical deflection move. It's like, Glory took you to a lawful evil society run by the Queen of all Dragons. Eclipse got herself thrown into an oubliette. Who's the one who gets shit? Farewell.
Yes.
Arguably the guy who got the most done during the trip.
I think it's mostly because he decides he's getting shit. It's like, it's like, but yeah. Of course.
Just as an aside, because I don't like her being forgotten. As you're eating your pie, you do notice that in Cora's pie, open as it is because it's half eaten, you do notice that suddenly one of the pieces of meat judders as if it's been stabbed, levitates about an inch off the table, and there's this bite mark that comes out of it, then another, then it disappears.
Enjoying yourself, Eowyn?
You don't really have to be invisible around us,
Especially not here.
Probably not
I'm
here.
sure the people here would not even
Thank
bat
you,
an
Evo.
eyelash.
I mean,
so
you're
Cora knows why Eowyn is invisible at the moment, and that's because her mouth is smeared with gravy.
Ah,
Gotta
fair.
You got a little something there.
Just,
Yeah, I mean,
it's a big piece of meat.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be challenging for her to eat anyway, because you can imagine everything's going to be
Big.
her sized.
Yeah.
Yes, but don't
but there's
you
peas.
ever once in a while imagine yourself grossing out on a piece of food that's the size of you? Like, imagine a giant cake. To be fair, I had one for my
I thought I
8th
wasn't feeling
birthday.
hungry because
That
I'm
was
eating
pretty
it
well.
now.
It was height of me. It
No,
was great, but it hung the sugar high afterwards. Oh boy.
No, I didn't have an awful lot of sweets growing up. Really.
See,
Sweet
this
is
is
a
where
very-
you should come with me to tea time. We need to rectify this. This is travesty.
No
Yeah,
more
but
tea
tea
time,
time-
please.
Tea time with you usually takes about 4 hours, and
Yes.
I can't eat that much or drink that much coffee without severe problems.
Well,
The
if you
gossip
do it
course takes 2
properly,
hours,
at
come on.
least 50% of the tea time will be spent talking. And we get dinner halfway through it.
Yeah, that's also the other problem. I mean, not talking to you, I just mean talking in general. I'm quite fine talking to you because you... I'm going to stop now.
And yes, the piece that Eowyn picked up would be like eating a watermelon made of meat for you and me. So this big ass piece of meat. And she seems to be getting a bit of Sunday lunch syndrome because she's currently leaning against a salt cellar.
Yeah. Food coma. Food baby.
Yeah.
I'd be like, careful on the indigestion there. That's not good for your humours. How many crew members are we up to, by the way? And I look over to see how many of them
Do
are
we
still
have
going.
enough yet?
Yep, you've got a full crew of the 11 that you needed. And
Nice.
so, yep, you notice that the Goliath and the
Use this
half-elf
on me.
hasn't drunk at all. And even when Sandera says, right, let's seal this, and she walks up to the bar, comes back with a bunch of earthenware cups that, as she walks past, she turns to you and says, as a point of explanation, rum ration. And she puts the rum down on the table. Everyone apart from the Goliath and the half-elf take the rum ration. She hands each of them a copper coin. And she says, Melora, and an early death. And they all kind of toast to her. They drink, and then they put the coin in their pocket. And put down the earthenware jugs. And something changes. After they do this kind of salute, they all just start milling around, talking to each other as if they were regular tavern folk. Up until then, it was like an exam. It was like training, like boot camp. Now that they've done that, they all just kind of sit around as a crew.
Oh. Should we socialize with them?
Crew complete, sir.
I would...
Well done.
They tend to be very hierarchical on ships. They tend to prefer the fact that we are either going to be classed as officers or what they're looking after, that we don't fraternize with them. They like that division, usually.
Sandera says, indeed, you're all considered owners and officers. They'll obey everything that you say within reason, but don't bother trying the small talk with them. These are proper sailors here. They won't know what to say. They will just largely be very, very agreeable, but will tell you nothing.
Very good.
Your ship. I hand over one of the blocks.
She takes the brick off you.
Best that you have that.
Oh,
says,
I whisper the activation phrase into her ear so she knows what it is.
Sure. And she puts it in her bag, which is not a bag of holding, so she's got this big fucking brick in this satchel now.
Where are all our supplies? Didn't you get like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks worth of supplies? Where are they?
Yes, they're in
bunch
the
of
bag
carts,
of
yeah.
holding.
There's a whole bunch of carts.
You put them in bags of holding, that's right, yes.
Oh, they all
Yeah.
fit? Okay, cool.
Yeah, you've got a bag of holding a piece.
Well,
So-
sure, yeah. Okay. What time is it? Is it sundown? Is it good? Are we off? Have you eaten? I look at them because they've been doing this all day. It's like, have you guys eaten?
She points to a booth where there's a bunch of it seems that she's just got like a platter that they've just been picking at, all of them.
Ah, good.
She said, don't worry about that. It's all part of, that's why I asked for my fee. I'm able to pay for that stuff. Yeah, I want to make sure I get it right. So, Katya says that they're all physically fit. And we only had 1 or 2 impolite people. So, we are, I think we're good. So, let's get a few things ready, shall we? For one thing, we're going to need to start getting accustomed to the ship. I'm going to go and pop this open. and she nods to the half-elf navigator, who dutifully gets up and walks after her out to the ship. And she, out to the dock. They speak momentarily with a dockside officer, and he points to the dock. She pays for the moorings and throws the folding boat, mutters a word, and you see the familiar look of a brick turning into a small ship.
At least it wasn't on top of someone this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice that, isn't it?
It's always good when we don't get in trouble. Let's go. The ship. Oh, we need to wait for the little necklaces.
And plus, it's
They
better
should
if
be
you just-
arriving any.
And they've got to load all the stores up and get
Oh,
the ship
yes, of
ready. And
course.
so we should stay out of their way and just.
There were
relax.
some things that didn't go in the bag of holding there. I think there were some barrels and things like that which were on a cart. But Katya gets the rest of the crew out there, and they're loading up the ship as you're sat there in the tavern. And just before Sandera comes back in, and very kind of professional-looking artisan, again high elf, walks in and says, Sakura Yosinel. Sakura Yosinel?
Yes?
Yes. From His Excellency, the Viceroy. And opens up thing, and there are 4 amulets of water breathing.
Yep. Good.
We have 1 surplus.
Thank you very much.
He goes,
Yeah.
6 days. After that, they will become inert.
Will they last
Lovely.
for 6 days, like when activated, or is it like 6 days from now?
Each activation is a 24-hour breathing period.
Okay.
I
you.
wait for him to walk away, and I go, Glory, would you just look those over just to make sure that they are just water breathing and no
Of
other wonderful
course
surprises?
There will. I was gonna do that anyways.
I figured you would, but you know, I like to ask.
So, Glory, what are you going to do?
I will step onto the ship, bring them with me into the cabin that we will be sharing,
Mm-hmm.
as the crewmen have their cabin. Basically, somewhere private.
Yep.
And then I will look them over, double check what type of enchantments are on it.
Okay. Do you want to do this by mundane means, which is an Arcana check? Do you want to cast Identify or Detect Magic?
I will use my eye first and foremost.
Okay, give me an Arcana check.
Of course.
You mean your Eye of Glory, or
Yes.
your eyes?
Oh, you can use the your Onyx eye. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
eye.
opal eye. Your,
Opal.
your star opal. Okay. So, unfortunately, I don't have the graphic, but there's a wonderful graphic that Felicia made of Glory putting her focus over her hand. So, Glory's
We'll find
focus,
a
for those
link.
of you who haven't been here before, she has a set of jewelry that goes over the back of her hand, and on the back of her hand is an ellipse opal that has little multicolored flecks inside the dark depths that you can just about see. And this was gifted to her by Frania, her black dragon family patron and ruler of the land that she comes from. And this boon was given to her level 7, I think it was, wasn't it? You got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
after our.
there we go.
loss.
Yep. So there's the link going in the chat now, and she places her hand
I was
over
trying to
her one of her eyes, and she starts to see out of the opal. And as she does so, it is the equivalent of a ritual cast of Detect Magic. Felicia,
Yes.
Glory looks over the amulets. Each of the amulets does indeed have a transmutation ability that you recognize as the water breathing enchantment. It does a number of different transmutive qualities, water to air. It does some other physiological changes, but it seems to be fairly, well, indeed. We have our own stream artist, and she's responsible for the tarot cards that's behind me at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I draw glory way too often.
Yes.
Way too much.
this channel would look very different if it wasn't for Felicia.
Yeah, she's responsible for all the graphics you see all around us.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty much the whole channel is a team effort.
If something looks off, it's because one of these two have tried something.
It's kind of in the charter now that I'm not allowed to do any of the graphic design because I am not a graphic designer in the slightest. Anyway, but so you look at it. So the transmutation is something that you recognize, but then clear as day, there's divination there as well.
Of course there is. Lovely.
Yeah, thought so.
So can we dispel it? Can we? Yeah, because you can choose which effect you dispel, can't you? If you dispel magic.
I do.
But yes, when you dispel it though on an enchanted item, it only dispels it for the length of time that the spell is active. So you have to keep casting dispel magic on all 4 of them to keep it going, which would be a lot of either time wasted or spell slots.
Right.
Dispel magic as a
just put
ritual?
them in a nice bag of holding,
Hold on,
and we use the water breathing potions that I brought.
Yes.
I mean, we can put them there, and then if we really need them, we'll take them and just not say anything classified around them. And if I try to say anything, please stab me.
I would have thought so, Nick, because that would have been a bit broken. Yeah,
that would have been incredibly broken. No one happens to have a lead box.
I mean, we've got bag of holdings. I can.
Yeah, I mean that will solve the problem. But yeah, I figured it would be too convenient that they would simply just give us the item, and of course they would try and keep tracks on us.
Yeah.
So who wants to keep hold of them then?
I can keep hold of them.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So make a note that you have the 4 bugged amulets of water breathing.
I've just got this feeling that I'm there's something I'm missing. I'm not quite sure what it is, and it's bugging me.
Politics.
That too.
4 amulets of water breathing.
Yep. Okay. So you have the amulets. You have the crew. Your folding ship is currently in ship mode, as opposed to boat or brick. And your crew are all ready.
We set off.
Hold on. Did Kate and Felicia get their loot bomb item from Minion the last session? Because I think only Corinne got hers.
Felicia did. She got her.
Yeah, I got my slippers of spider climb.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's you and Quoro who hasn't got one yet.
I got honey. Is that
yeah, you got honey.
I got honey. I don't know.
The honey wasn't the
gifted.
thing. Let me check. I've got.
I mean, Minion went out of his way to do that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a good point.
To make sure he's waited a good week to make sure the rest of it came out.
Oh, that's okay. Well, Minion knows what you got, Nick. You don't know what you got.
I have
Minion
no idea what I've got.
Knows. Yeah.
Oh.
So Corinne got. Eclipse got given a piece of lost property, which was a gem of brightness.
Yes.
Felicia got slippers of spiderweb.
Well, heels of spider climb. I've taken.
Oh yes, you transferred it to a pair of natty heels, haven't you?
Yeah.
Nick has got random item D. And
that's terrifying.
Kate hasn't been given one yet.
Kate hasn't been given one yet. Okay. I have it here, but I've been trying to figure out how it would get in there, and
you can find a way to do it organically.
I already know how it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet.
Okay, cool. Okay. It's just that
fair enough.
I saw how hard Minion worked to do that for us.
Oh yeah,
and I wanted to
don't worry.
sure
Minion knows that it's coming. Yeah. So yeah, I was figuring out how to give it to her. because I knew who was going to give it to her, and she hasn't done something very vital, but she's about to.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm fine to get it in story if Minion's okay with that.
Oh yeah,
I'm absolutely fine to wait.
You head off, Farah and the still unnamed, Triton get onto their mounts and start to keep pace with your ship. The wind picks up.
I do yell out in Primordial, "I'm really sorry, what's your name?" And what you guys hear is like this kind of like no, again, it's more
Waves.
like waves and water sound.
Yeah,
so it does sound like it's more like a crashing, like rolling wave. And he just sort of waits and sort of goes, "Oh, maybe I don't speak Triton, but I figured it might be close enough to Primordial."
Well, it's Aquan.
You're speaking Aquan, yeah?
Yeah.
Specifically. Okay, give me a charisma with proficiency check. Go on.
Oh yay! The thing that I've got like -2
Hey,
in.
you get a fucking roll. So go for it.
Where's my dice?
Let's see if you can charm the Triton.
With a
Is
7
Farrell
charisma.
gonna flirt with the Triton? I
Is
approve
Farrell
of this
flirting?
match.
Is Farrell flirting?
I think Farewell is just
You know
being
what?
friendly.
Do you know what?
Farewell is being friendly, but Gloria is perfectly willing to be his wingman at this point in time because he needs to get some.
Yeah, at a 7 charisma, good fucking luck. Well, I rolled 17. I've got +4 proficiency, so that brings me up to a nice 21, but -2, and we're back down to 19.
Sure. Okay. You can see as this tiger shark just comes up, you kind of take the moment to just speak out in Aquan, asking what her name is, and she scowls at you, and at that point the shark needs to do another kind of dive because it's kind of doing this through the water. It's kind of doing a glide profile, and so she kind of scowls at you, and it goes under the water, and you're like, oh right, and then her head pops back out of the water, and she goes, Yana, and she says, my name is Yana.
Flip your hair. You have beautiful silver locks. You just flip it a little bit and flash her a charming smile like a half smirk. It should be perfect.
Huh? I very quickly.
She's gone.
I was going to thank her. Now she's too far away. What was that? What about my hair? I mean, thank you. I really like it. I do take care of it.
Farewell.
It's looking
I
a little
think you
shaggy at the
misunderstand.
moment.
I am really trying to get you laid because that is a pretty lady, a buff pretty lady, and obviously she likes aquan things.
Full sail, hard starboard, and you feel the ship lurch as it turns into the wind.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, yes. We should try to get Farewell to. Yes. Let's get Farewell laid. Let's make this our mission.
No.
The
Look,
ship
you
is starting
three-
to bounce and plane on the waves.
You three, and I hope because Farewell's water genasi, he has sea legs. He's like, you three, promise me, this is not becoming your new thing.
Can't promise you that.
This cannot be your new thing. You must promise me. No.
I don't make promises. I
Farewell.
keep Farewell.
I'm gonna be honest. Men are not my thing, but you are a very pretty man, and I am sure that
Thank
we
you.
can get you a lovely lady companion. You just need some help.
That is the nicest backhanded compliment you've ever paid me. Thank you.
You can you suddenly hear this as the narwhal crests over, and you can see that the ship now is starting to take the wind, and you're leaving your two silver fins behind. And Farah turns back to Yana and goes, "Slipstream." And they both dive, and there's this sudden pinpoint of bubbles ahead of each of the mounts. The first set of bubbles appears right at the tip of the narwhal's horn, and a bunch of bubbles start to appear just around about 1.5 feet in front of the snout of the tiger shark. And you can see that they're holding on to the saddles that's on the back of the water mounts, and 2 runes, even through the water you can see it, 2 runes start to flare up. And you watch as these bubbles start to spiral and spiral and spiral. And there's a sudden ripple under the water as this twisting silvery column appears in front of both mounts. And you have a feeling that it's kind of churned air. And as the mounts lurch forward, they're now going as fast as the ship. This is faster than any fish should be able to swim. You can see that somehow they've managed to magically haste both of their mounts. This is a Silverfin specific enchantment called Slipstream, and it allows them to travel at 150 foot around swim speed.
I mean, they are very impressive, but you cannot have this be a thing. She doesn't strike me as the type of person that would take well to your kind of interaction.
So you're more interested in the sea elf then? We can make that work.
Yes, very much.
That's not what I said. I didn't say anything along those lines. And I look at Cora and I'm like, come, just like help me here. just.
We just need to get you better talking to people. That's all. You don't need to get laid. Yet.
I am perfect. I am perfectly
like
happy
a 5-step
with,
program.
I am perfectly happy with my level of interaction that I have with people.
That's fine. If you're happy, that's
3
fine.
Are the most people and a few others that I can't comfortable conversing with. I would very much like it if you know what, I don't even know. I'm speaking to Brady. You've already made your mind up. I can tell it's written all over your faces that this is. Oh boy. I'm gonna.
I bet.
And you watch as he pulls out his book and just starts writing. And he just flops down the side and just starts writing in his book. And he's just like, "Oh, this is gonna be my whole."
I bend down and kind of give him a hug and kind of slightly whisper in his ear, it's like, "As long as you're happy."
I'm always happy. I've got you guys. It's just.
Okay.
Oddly, this is somehow making him happy, even though you torture him methodically.
Yes, but you don't really. You can't get any action with us, so we need to get some.
Yeah, it's a bit hard.
Considering how chaotic and damaging all of your sex lives and romantic lives are, I'm pretty sure I'm okay. I mean, yours, I'm pretty sure you're going to end up like burning half the city down when that falls apart. No offense, but like Queen.
Oh, please! It wouldn't just be the city; it would be at least half a continent.
My point exactly.
Yes.
And
I
wouldn't say mine's
for it
that
to fall
bad.
apart. I'm quite happy with Manuela.
You didn't see him afterwards. It might not have been bad for you, but he was so embarrassed about the whole thing. He didn't want to come and say hi.
Oh, was it that bad?
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I tried.
Was he seeing someone?
I think so.
Oh, well, I was pretty drunk, so I didn't really know.
I don't think he was seeing anybody at the time.
You did that? Yeah, I've been there.
No.
I've run out of a few towns because of it. It's hard when they don't tell you beforehand, and then you find out when the other lady comes back home the day after.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he wasn't like. What were you saying, Farewell? Did you say he started seeing someone after?
think that's how he explained it, and
Oh, okay. So
fascinating his character without meaning to. And
Oh,
that is
right.
another apology letter I now have to write.
No, that's fine. I can understand the awkwardness of seeing someone you had a one night stand with, and then when you're just newly seeing another person, that could be kind of awkward. And I don't think that the ill
I
reflection
don't
of
really
me.
see how that's awkward.
Yeah. Or I mean, but all the point I'm trying to make is perhaps and I particularly direct this towards Glory, is that maybe you're not the best people to be giving relationship and or romantic advice to. I mean, I appreciate
Why?
it because
I mean, I'm on friendly terms with most of my one night stand. You've seen,
And-
I
yeah,
have
but you
breakfast
swim-
with Rachel at least twice a month.
yeah, but you swing to extremes. I mean, those that you're on good terms with, on the other ones, you're trying to murder each other, or in your case, succeeding.
Well,
and that
I
would
usually
explain
don't try
the
to murder
corpses.
them. It's their partners that try to murder me. It hasn't happened that often, but it has happened a few times. Also, the first few times I went outside Skullra was a bit hard because while my mom is great, she did not prepare me for the culture difference. How could I know that burning someone's fiance was not a challenge for the person's love?
Common sense.
At this point, there's a sudden high whistling sound, and there's this giant column of water as Yana on her tiger shark leaps over the ship, and you hear "Ee-oo-ee!" and as she's about to hit the water, a very rapid whirlpool, like a tunnel of air, suddenly rips into the ocean, and she goes straight into the column. And just as soon as she goes in, it closes up behind her in a effervescence that just follows behind, like the sea foam. And all you can see is this slight silhouette just going ahead of the ship. The Silverfins are enjoying themselves, apparently.
That is kind of cool. You should try that.
Yeah.
Really
To
point
ride
of
one. I
farewell.
want to ride one.
I'll be honest with you.
Well,
That's probably
Eclipse,
beyond
sweetheart, if you were riding that one, you would be wet and salty.
But I want to ride one.
me. I'm sure we
Well,
can
let's-
find a way.
Try not to piss them off, and then maybe we
mean-
could.
I mean, it's gonna be. Sorry, we said it was 2 weeks there, 2 weeks back, right?
1 week there, 1 week back, I think.
Yeah. So you
2
know,
weeks
we got a
total.
week. Yeah, we got a week. We can fit some tiger shark time in. I mean, the thing's gonna tire eventually, and so you know.
And he seemed like such a good boy when we were at the pier. Really wanted to play.
No,
Everybody wants to play with like the
I
Jack Russell Terrier of sharks.
Yes.
I have a feeling more that he wanted to eat me more than play.
Isn't that the same thing?
Not for me.
Uh,
Yeah. Not for me.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Let's wrap this up, shall we? Because it is 11. You all get to nighttime, and with no explanation as to how the Silverfins are still going, they seem to be matching course with your ship. You do the final checks. You can see that one of the crew is in the crow's nest, and you can see the underbosun, the Goliath, gets up, stretches, cracks his neck, walks up to Katya and says, anything I need to know? She goes, nah, it's all fine. See you later, big man. And she slaps him on the back, and these two are two hulking great people. And Katya, rather than going up into the officer's cabin with you lot, goes down into the deck.
Hmm.
And she's probably hot bunking with the Goliath. Sandera, takes a kind of like a big poncho thing, huge furs, making him look very kind of stereotypical orc. She looks pretty badass. Even though she's like, half the size of her sister. She, putting this
Still
on, she looks like a chieftain. Yeah, she's looking pretty good. And she goes up to the till and at the tiller, and she nods at the person who's on the wheel, and takes one of the seats that's there. There's a seat nailed to the deck. Sits there and and you can see that her eyes are just lolling, and she's just moving with the ship. It's not raining, and she's going to sleep up on deck. You all go into the cabin, get yourself sorted out, and try to get some sleep in a ship, which is, I don't know if any of you have been in a small ship. None of these cruise liner ships, but like a longboat.
Produces all the hammocks that he had made for all the party. He's like, I brought the hammocks.
Yep, you brought the hammocks. Well done. It's difficult. Yeah. Sleeping in something that moves so dramatically. I know this from experience. I'm a coastal boy myself. And so, yeah, it takes a while for you guys to nod off. But when Cora eventually nods off, you watch the familiar sight of this full hammock swinging back and forth with this tiny little mound inside it because it's wrapped around this little halfling. And then slowly but surely, the hammock just relaxes and almost goes flat as Cora's body completely disappears, as she does every night. Cora, you wake up in the Feywild, in the Summerlands, and you wake up. Everything feels not real, but the right kind of not real. And you can watch as Enola is watching your fellow knights jousting. This is a practice yard, and you can see that there's a grand melee, there's the joust, there's the hammer, the longsword. There's a lot of different training going on here at the moment. Apparently they're preparing for some kind of games. And you can see that there are arcane knights there as well. So you can see that two of them are standing on two pillars, kind of like gladiator style, but instead of those stupid sticks with the big pads on the end, these two pillars are further apart. And the pillars are intended so that you can't dodge, you can't kind of get out the way. And two spellslinger knights are throwing magic at each other, and they're bringing up shields and glancing things to the side and taking some of the damage themselves. And then you notice that after they take some of this damage, let's say it's fire damage, they open their hands, and some of the fire they absorbed is in their hands, and they just go and fire it back. And Enola's kind of looking on, reasonably interested, but the second that she sees you materialize a few feet away from her, she turns around and is suddenly lit up with joy. She runs up to you, gathers her arms around you, and kisses you and says, how's it going?
Well, not too bad. We made it out of the city. Okay. I did have to put on a show. I nearly had a duel. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't have one, actually. That would have been kind of fun.
Stick around here, you'll get one soon enough.
Yeah, what's happening?
Well, it's the games. We have a games, Sun's Mount. We get a game at the particular point. Seasons work differently here. And there's a point where the summer court is in. We don't really have a word in common for it. It's kind of like Apex. We're at the height of our power, and there's a big celebration. Oh. My father gives out boons and distributes much of the power before it wanes. He distills the power into people. Gives out various gifts and boons and things like that. And so, yeah, and there's a big games as well. And the knights are currently preparing themselves for the various events.
Should I be preparing for something?
I mean, if you want to.
Well,
yeah.
Should I not though? I mean, if I'm your knight, would it be weird if I'm not competing?
Not really. It's a personal choice. There's a lot of honor. There's lots of prizes, and you can gain lots of allies this way as well. Not just for people who favor you, but a lot of these knights here, they don't want to know your name until you've been in battle with them and either fought alongside them or sparred with them. So yeah.
I feel like I then should.
She points out. She goes, "So you've got you've got spell sword, you've got you've obviously got spell battles themselves. Then there's melee, grand melee, and melee is duels obviously, and grand melee is everybody going into one arena, and it's kind of king of the hill, last person to be knocked cold." Obviously, we have healers on hand. Most of these are true Fae anyway, so they can't really be killed in that fashion. They more just kind of weaken and pass out. And then, of course, we've got jousting, which I think is rather silly and a bit outdated, but they like that anyway. And then you have flight jousting as well, and you can see as two griffins fly over the top. And the riders have lances on the griffins.
Oh my god, that looks so awesome. I've never done it though, so I don't want to do it and then fail, because then I don't want that to look bad on you if I fail.
It won't look bad on me. I think they would enjoy the sportsmanship. They're not having any great expectations of you. You weren't raised with this.
I know, but I don't want people to think that I'm not worthy of it. And not worthy of you because I'm not as good as them. You deserve the best, and I don't want you to have someone who's just like a pity knight. I don't want to be a pity knight. I want to be a good knight.
She kisses you on the forehead and says, "You're being very mortal."
Well, I am mortal.
Not here.
Okay. Well, sure.
Just remember, and she goes up and she takes your hands and she looks for a scar that's behind your thumb. You remember when you got it? You were climbing out of a sewer grate on one of your smuggling jobs, and the grate came down, smashed on your hand. It gave you a nasty scar here. By the time you got it to Farewell, he managed to stitch it up, but there's still always that little blemish there. She takes your hand and shows you the back of the thumb and says, "No scar. You're something different here. What you become is what you choose to be."
I mean, a cool griffin rider would be pretty cool, though, wouldn't it? Right? Or, sorry, is that being too mortal?
And let's get you a griffin.
Okay.
She smiles and walks up to just one of her attendants and says, "Sarah Yosanal would like her mount prepared." And the attendant just nods, not asking for any explanation of what mount, where mount, whatever, and just heads off.
I breathed water today, by the way.
Oh,
that was new.
I've never done that.
Oh, we have necklaces that can do it. I'm not sure we're going to use them, though. I think someone's spying on them, so there's that. Yeah, unsurprising.
Yeah, that happens a lot here too.
I bet it does. There's definitely some similarities between that place and this.
From what I can tell where you've come from, yeah. The problem is that here we just play whatever game that is made between the courts. We've got a bit of friction with the winter courts at the moment, but Father has it in hand. There, they try to become us, and that means that they exemplify a lot of who we are, even the bad bits, which means that they end up worse than us. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. We met some. Don't worry, it makes sense.
Oh, by the way, Father had a gift for you. here. And
Mother?
she goes off and gets a rosewood case. She brings it up to you and she says, apparently it only has a few shots, but anyway, here. And she hands it to you and she says, it will re-emerge when you wake. It'll emerge with you in Mundus when you wake.
I'm gonna open it up. What is it?
Yeah. As you open it up, there's a little brass plaque that says to Seracora Yursonal, comma Admiral.
Addendum, Commodore.
Oh yeah.
And
She has a fleet. She's Commodore Yossonel.
And just to bring it up, inside is you've seen one of these things. Aiden has one, and
I don't think I'm ready to bring it up on the stream, but don't know whether I still have.
It looks like Aiden's Witchlock, but there's a noticeable difference. First of all, you can see that it doesn't seem to have any place where it reloads, but it does have. Do me a favor and roll me a.
Is Cora getting a gun?
Yeah, have I got like
Cora gonna
a
be able
cool
to toss
flintlock?
gun?
Is this a flintlock style gun?
It's a flintlock style gun,
Which
and
one?
I want you to roll me 1d4, please.
Oh, 1d4. 1d4. Here we go. Oh, that's a 3. My lucky number.
3. So there's 7 shots that seem to be embossed inside. And she says, right, so this is a very specific weapon. You have destructive force, but Father believes that you need a little more finesse. And you also need a little more control. Each of these shots will be, first of all, have a concussive effect. And then after that, the blast does something very interesting. So after the concussive blast goes out, it solidifies into a wall of force, encasing anything that's around it. So it allows you to control the battlefield. And in terms, this is a pistol that has force shot. The force shot is the same as the bead of force wondrous item. And for you to look it up,
rare?
it's a rare. It's in the DMG page 154 for your reference. And that is this small black sphere measures 3/4 of an inch in diameter and weighs an ounce. Typically, 1d4 plus 4 beads of force are found together. In this case, you roll 3, so it's 7. You can use an action to throw a bead, or in this case, fire a bead up to 60 foot. The bead explodes on impact and is destroyed. Each creature within 10 foot of where the bead landed must succeed in a DC 15 dexterity saving throw or take 5d4 of force damage. A sphere of transparent force then encloses the area for 1 minute and a 10-foot radius. That's the square is the origin, and 10 foot around that's a 5x5 square. Yeah, a 5x5 bubble of force that encloses the area for 1 minute. Any creature that failed to save is completely within the area gets trapped inside the sphere. Anyone who saves it gets pushed out. Creatures that says here, creatures that succeeded in the save or partially within the area are pushed away from the center of the sphere until they're no longer inside it. Only breathable air can pass through the sphere's wall if it's there. No attack or other effect can. So you can use this weirdly if you don't mind taking 5d4 damage as a protective spell as well. The enclosed creature can, if it's a ball and not a dome, can use this action to push against the sphere's wall and effectively hamster ball around, moving the sphere up to half of its walking speed. The sphere can be picked up, and its magic causes it to weigh only 1 pound, regardless of the weight of creatures inside. So even a little halfling could pick up this 25-foot diameter sphere and carry around all the creatures within.
I love it.
And potentially throw them off a cliff so that when the spear spells in the air, they go splat.
Yep.
Typical Glory.
Well, it's only
good
1
idea.
pound of weight, so you can give it to a familiar. The familiar can fly it up in the air, and when it dispels, they just all fall from a great height.
Bye bye. Oh.
Hashtag plays a lot of wizards. So yes, that is. So you've got 7 doses of the bead of force, but it's been imbued into a beautiful-looking black powder weapon. After it finishes, the black powder weapon continues to function as a regular black powder weapon, and it takes a turn to load it, but it does fire 2d6 plus your dexterity in damage.
Okay.
But it's slow loading.
Yeah.
Takes a whole turn to load.
Yeah.
So it's generally a one-use weapon in the combat rather than.
Yeah, if you want to have a 2d6 plus dex at the beginning of a thing, yeah, you can load it with regular shot. Black powder weapons aren't as good as cantrips.
No, but they have finesse, so they make they yes they make an entrance.
Kate, I think you were given a finesse point to use probably for next session.
Yeah. So tag yourself with the finesse point. So the finesse point system has changed somewhat because I made it a little overcomplicated and a little broken before. So Kate, that is currently being used as viewer inspiration. So you can use that for an advantage on any roll. And there's a potential secondary effect which we were talking about before in the Benefactor chat. That is personal to each of you, so we'll finalize that.
We will double check before next week, but yes, I have got my little star thing.
Cool.
Excellent.
Good stuff. So,
in your corner, which is
we're gonna leave Cora watching the dueling with Enola in the Feywild, which is her current sleeping body. And we are going to leave Farewell, Glory, and Corinne, Eclipse, not Corinne, sleeping or trying to sleep in a ship that is now rapidly going towards your next
so much.
No, she does not.
Like a diesel engine.
Yeah.
Excuse you.
Rule outside of the map.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. E-Hole, for the 1,000 bits, by the way.
You went
Yes, thank you very much
now
for
top cheerer
your
on the
generous
channel.
donations.
Yeah,
Top cheerer for the channel.
I
Thank
will-
you so much.
that is, you gave us a total of $41 today. You're insane.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, dude. Thank
We'll
you
be back
so
on
much.
Friday. You can see more.
I will.
Yes.
I will argue though that Farewell, being of the traveling sort, is used to sleeping inside of moving caravans. I can't imagine the ship could be that much worse.
Actually, yeah. Compared to a bumpy road, this is actually quite nice, and it's the motion of the ocean, which is something that you are quite happy with. It's well past 11 o'clock now, so we're going to stop our game here. A big thank you to Mr. E-Hole, Lithster, Minion. I think I saw Dacia here as well.
We also had various follows because from Lincia, Darren Hudson, Nebula, Rich
Quartz,
and obviously Mr. E-Hole for giving so many things. Oh, Unknown Tragedy as well.
Yeah.
And
Me.
Sweet Nature, Streak. My goodness,
Streak,
so many people.
Chumpalot, to Mr. Oh, that was 2 days ago. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And also a big thank you to Kate, Felicia, Nick, and Corinne for their story today.
And Simon.
And, of course, all of you.
Simon.
And Simon for DMing for this chaotic group.
Riding the
idiots.
You've gotten many compliments in chat, Simon. I don't know how much you're keeping up with it.
Mostly I focus on you guys, but thank you very much.
Watch the VOD.
So yes, if you enjoyed our particular brand of chaos, please join us on the Discord where, as I say, we're looking at other projects at the moment. You saw one of our recent ones, the Vaudeville Ghost. You saw another one on Monday, which was the lovely Ed. I keep wanting to say Halliwell. Is it Ed? something anyway. Who normally plays JT on Tuesdays. We're doing Call of Cthulhu.
That
And,
is a good idea, Nick. Perhaps we can raid someone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
we
do
have-
a raid in a
let's show
second.
some love.
Yeah.
Show some
But before
love.
we do that, our next broadcast will
Yeah.
be Tuesday, 8 p.m. UK time, where Paul, Corinne, Felicia, and Ed will be playing in our Star Wars game, Legends of the Sprawl, as they are going to be attacking a capital ship for the first time with a bunch of drunken space Vikings. So that's looking good.
It's
let's
the best
take a look.
type of party.
So,
Yes,
chat, do we have any suggestions for raids?
Do we
Let's
want to
have a
raid
look.
a
Let's
D&D
raid
or
someone. Yeah, someone in D&D, probably like a smaller channel.
D&D
What
or
was
something.
the
Yeah,
small
oh,
site?
yeah, I'm up for looking at some another D&D streamer. Let's see, Encounter Roleplay's on, but they've got tons of followers as it
We
is.
got
find a midway
D&D
one.
Ghost of Saltmarsh, episode 25. 11 viewers.
I tell you what, a place that gets even less love than the D&D channel is the Tabletop Role-Playing channel. Let me
I was just
gonna
checking
say,
in there.
Yeah.
What do we have in there?
I think that's...
Spanish one. We have Monster of the Week. Is there anything that's jumping out? If not, we'll go back to D&D.
Wait a minute.
more Spanish. A lot of
RPGs.
Spanish things. In...
Well, you
Oh,
can,
there's
you
a
can
Dead
change
of
it to
Winter
English,
one.
filter it by
One.
English, and then you're fine.
Oh, there's a Dead of
Ooh,
Winter one.
Masks of Nyarlathotep, Call of
Ooh.
Cthulhu 7th edition and Pulp. And
Ooh,
that's
let's do that one.
Skageth.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
we
go
can raid them.
They have
do
6
that. Let's give them
viewers.
some love, chat.
Yeah.
Let's give them
Yeah.
some love.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
Use
are
your
they streaming?
channel
Yeah.
point to unlock the glory emote and spam it in chat.
Yeah,
You
you
can,
can give you a few
um,
seconds to...
Write
Yeah.
a message, and then everyone can just cut and paste it.
Yeah.
Kate, do you want to do the code?
Yeah,
or
I
shall
can get it. I can get it ready. I was just gonna do it in the Streamlabs thing. One
Sure.
minute. Let's make sure I do it on the right Twitch manager.
Okay,
Great.
it's SKAGG.
I cut and paste. We're all good.
Cool. Yep.
Do you
Okay.
want...
Raid is
a
set
step?
up.
Yeah, Chaos Raid.
And
Sounds
then Glory
good.
Love.
Okay.
You can copy paste that, guys.
I'm gonna before we raid, we'll go to our end credits and roll our credits, but then
Okay.
we'll raid. So
And then it will go over. Yep.
we'll go over and spread some love. Yeah.
It is
Okay. Did you put in chat
lovely.
where we're coming from? Cool. We just cut and paste that. Chaos raid.
Yeah. And
All
make sure
right.
you got the emote so you can.
Yeah,
copy it.
yeah. Just cut and paste. All right. So what? Should we go to our end credits?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Let's do it.
See you
We'll
on
see you over on the other
Tuesday.
channel. Yes. see you
Yes.
then. Bye.
See you then.
Bye, guys.